coming live.
Peseye dawasio echa ye kutuo nyamiye eseseye dawasio
Tumarakwa
sweetheart, man. When I was like 15, 16, my number one crush was Whitney. I say one of the saddest days in my life was when I heard she married Bobby Brown.
Oh. No way she died.
No. That was around that time. That was like my saddest time. And the sad thing is, my middle name is also Robert.
So she wanted a Bobby.
She could have gone for me, and you went for Bobby B. You could have gone for Bobby T. You know, Whitney was just awesome, and she's linked to another Robert because the writer of this song is none other than the man who is under pressure right now, Robert Kelly. Kelly. No. It's not about mute. It's people are good and they're bad. He writes a great song like this, but he does bad things to it. Nobody's totally perfect, totally evil.
I'm not either. I mean, I'm not going to say
yeah, he wrote this song.
I'm sure people have lots of them.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, don't persistently hurt other people and other people's children.
Oh, Charlie, I look to you. Great song. Welcome to the show. We're looking to you to make this a nice collaboration, all right, on this show, GTV Breakfast, live right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on DSTV channel 278, and our sponsors make this happen. Are we purified drinking water? It's right there. Shield acrylic paint and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. What's the next level?
Which they still haven't brought. I'll find out when they bring some of the Adonko Next Level.
In terms of the show, what's the next level?
Oh, so much happening today on the program. Of course, we'll start off as usual with our motivational message. Yesterday was an exciting day for us. You know, when we said the first person to send us a WhatsApp message, she called us after the program and was arranged a little souvenir pickup. She did come, so she came to GBC. Mercy, good morning. We know that you watch us every morning at Kaswa. So good morning to everybody at Kaswa as well. Thank you for watching GTV Breakfast. Thank you for choosing us. The only choice.
You know, and I asked her, Mercy, so Mercy, is Kaswa really that wild that we see in the media? You know what she said? She said yes.
She's a very calm lady, very pretty. She had suffered a tragic loss, bad memories from one of Ghana's top hospitals. It was quite a sad story. But Mrs. Gazy welcomed her with opened arms. That's channel manager for GTV, and she made the little presentation. I think she was quite happy to be here. We were happy to have her.
Indeed.
And so we acknowledge you this morning. And you also can join this train of souvenirs. Just follow us. Just like our pages. Just share our content. Send your comments to us. Our WhatsApp line 05555 61034. That's our WhatsApp number. Send us your thoughts and comments and follow our social media handles. This program will be fun-packed. We are talking as usual, as we do every Wednesday morning, with the Minerals Commission. So they will be discussing with us once again the local content law and what's in there for Ghanaian companies that may be interested. We'll also have a sit-down to talk about the Auditor General's Report 2020 and all the state institutions, other companies that have been cited in there for infractions. What can we do to make it better? We'll have that conversation with Dr. Eric Osei Odro to discuss those issues and more. Of course, we'll look into the headlines as well. And when you're tired of all the hard talk, you know who's got your back, right?
Hello, good morning. So this side of the table, we'll catch up on what's happening across social media and all the networks. Our show is interactive, so you can send in your messages, voice messages, to our WhatsApp number 05555 61034. You can send in your messages, conversations, anything through the WhatsApp line. We are live on DSTV channel 278, Facebook, IG, YouTube. The hashtag is GTV Breakfast. Today we'll be spending some time with a woman and we'll be talking life-affirming stories. I'm sure you'll be curious to find out what it is, but when she's on the show, you can send in your comments and then we'll have that conversation. And then also, we'll be speaking to a musician, a gospel musician. He does contemporary gospel. His name is MOG. So MOG is on later on in the show as well. So do send in your comments and everything GTV Breakfast. Over to you guys on the other side.
All right. So happy birthday to you if today's your birthday. And if you want to shout somebody out, you know what to do. Take your phone and save this number. It's our WhatsApp number, 055 556 1034. 055 556 1034. I started reading a book yesterday. It's by former Finance Minister of Nigeria, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Fighting corruption is dangerous. The story behind the headlines. We'll be having a conversation on corruption today. Crazy stories. I'll share some of this stuff that I've been reading. I've done about almost 80 pages already. And I'll be sharing some interesting stories on what she did to fight corruption.
She's heading the World Trade Organization.
Exactly
now,
so.
So she has lots of experience when it comes
big
to that.
Time, big
Powerful
time.
African woman.
Big time.
We're definitely proud of her.
Yes,
so
indeed.
We'll look forward to hearing this.
Yes, indeed. I'll be sharing. You see, corruption is not a value you want to uphold. But Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi is going to tell you about the good cultural values that need upholding. Here he comes.
Good morning. It's a beautiful morning to you. And guess what? I'm always very humbled to bring you our wisdom nugget for today. And today, as always, a nugget a day keeps the problems away. Our nugget for today is learn to uphold the good values in your culture. In every single culture, there are many great things in it that we need to look at and uphold and cherish and continue to do it as long as it's useful. But there are many good things in our culture. Without culture, we don't have a sense of identity. We need to cherish the good things in our culture. I have an African-American professor friend, and when I am with him and, doing different things, guess what? When he gets like a bowl of food, he just picks the bowl of food and, with all respect to African Americans, I don't have anything against that. I'm just making a point here. When he picks up his food, he just takes the food and starts to eat it. So he did it so many times that one day I said to my friend, I say, hey, we don't do that in Ghana. In Ghana, when you pick up a bowl of food, you literally must invite the people around you. And guess what? 99% of the time, nobody's really come to eat your food. But it's just a sign of love. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of communality. Like, we're together. We're in this together. It's so beautiful that even I have seen it at restaurants. Everybody around have ordered their own food. And guess what? The person next to you gets the food first, and they invite you to say, come eat with me. Isn't it nice? Are those no beautiful things in our culture? We have many beautiful things in our culture, like, respect. A lot of respect for elderly people. I was once in London, boarding a bus at this station, this bus station. And there was this boy, I think he was like 6 years old. And, the bus driver was such an elderly man. He looked elderly, maybe 50s or something. And this boy was just calling him John. Hey, John. I'm like, goodness, you calling this guy John? Like, we don't do that in my country. And it's okay there. But those are things in our culture that we must cherish. But hey, this is the key one I really want to talk about and nail today. It's about learning to uphold our language. Language is so crucial for every culture. If you are a Ghanaian and you don't speak any Ghanaian language, I don't think it's good enough. And here is the problem. A lot of our children don't speak our local language. You know what? I was reading some research recently in many countries, particularly from South Africa, and it's coming all across the continent that our children are beginning to have a sense of identity crisis. They are getting into an identity crisis just because they have lost their language. I have made it a rule in my home. And I know I'm speaking English here, and I speak English at work, and I probably look like I speak English everywhere. But when I get home, I make it a rule that I speak my language at home. I've made it a rule for my children. I was talking with one of my nephews, and he couldn't even say, this is my name in the local language. And this boy who was born and bred in Ghana. He's not lived outside, and yet he can't even tell his name in his local language. And hey, when you talk like that, people begin to, throw all kinds of things about you. Oh, you're talking about culture, so why do you even wear a suit sometimes? Or why you even speak English? Please, let's get a balance. One of the key pillars of wisdom, like I've said previously, is balance. We need to have balance. I'm not saying that speak Tree or speak Ewe or speak Ga all the time. I'm not saying that. Neither am I saying that because we are talking about culture, you should always be in African dress. Not necessarily. I'm saying that you need to get a balance. I've noticed that even His Royal Highness the Otumfo would sometimes, when he has foreign dignitaries, will speak English with them. It's a balance. And so get the balance right. Like I said, I have made it a rule in my house that my children, you got to speak our language because you belong here. It doesn't matter how much English you speak. You're never going to be an English person. It doesn't matter how much French you speak, you are never going to become a Frenchman or woman. So look out for the good values in your culture and uphold it. That is key to wisdom, and that will give you a sense of identity and will give you some sense of good pride. You need it, you need it, and you need it. So let's cherish the good things in our culture and go out there and be, in quotes, proud of your culture, proud of yourself, but never look down on other people's culture as well. So enjoy your day, keep smiling, and keep enjoying these wisdom nuggets. And guess what? Keep enjoying the breakfast show. Have a great day, and have a beautiful day, and have the best of days.
Thank you, Dr. Kofi Osei Kusi, for that motivational word. I'm totally loving it, because loving and appreciating your culture means eat kenke, you know, eat abetie. Valerie would bear with me. Eat gobe, Kaf would agree. Basically appreciate what is your own. Definitely speak your own language and make your country proud. Thank you, Doc, for that motivational word. We had some showers from last night to about this morning, so let's see what that means for us in terms of weather for today. Thanks for staying with us another day, another morning. Thanks to Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink for partnering us on the breakfast show. You can catch us on the go on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Follow us on YouTube and on Twitter as well, or watch us on DSTV channel 278. We are also on Go TV as well. We'll go straight into social media trends, and can we talk about Fix the Country? I think because of the next march which they've scheduled for Nkrumah's birthday in Takoradi, the conversation is still ongoing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. That's they're talking about fixing the constitution, you know, dealing with the constitution. And so, yeah, it's the trend. You on holidays, you want to do your stuff at that time, because then there's less traffic.
Okay, there are a few tweets that have caught our eye, and we will display them very quickly. Val?
This is from M.A. Kadianad, and if you're not ready to perform, fix the country now hashtags, and then we'll surely put them on their toes. Come 2024, the youth will surely be heard. Fix the country hashtag again. We'll ring on and we'll all rally behind that. The 1992 Constitution is outmoded and needs to be replaced.
Okay, so just reiterating what you said earlier, Kaf, about the Constitution. Now they're still speaking.
He says he's at Nat Kobe. He says the man who said was going to protect the public purse has turned around to increase him and his cohort salaries by over 50%, yet the teachers who guided his steps to presidency earned only 4% of their salaries. Where is the truth, Mr. Adnanado? You are higher than your daily bundles, and thousands offers that every night. This means you can do better. Fix the country now.
Okay, that's hitting at the telcos, isn't it?
Yes.
So many issues cropping up in Fix the Country. And can I just make this part of Fix the Country? Eric Mensah, you've sent us a message on Facebook, and he's saying, please, good morning, GBC Breakfast team. You're doing a great work. I have a problem. Please kindly inform your reporters to check the newly constructed Pokwase interchange. They have turned it to fufu joints every night. Thank you. I hope you read all my comments today.
What, like fufu?
So he's saying that it's been turned into a fufu joint every night. I actually use that route every day, but obviously because I'm just passing through, I'm not able to get the size that he's talking about. But thanks for bringing that to our attention, Eric. Chuan Fan, you're also
all the way from Seattle.
From Seattle, and he said, I stay up late in Seattle, Washington, just to watch live. And we do appreciate you watching live. All of us here appreciate you. Robert Stoff, you are using the hashtag GTV Breakfast. That's what we want to encourage everybody to do. Hashtag GTV Breakfast. Ken Kabonu says, good show on...
Ken Kabonu, is it the Ken Kabonu? Yeah.
Yep. So one of our biggest fans as well. Thank you so much for reaching out to us. Quickly, let me read some WhatsApp messages. Hi, good morning, Ken Kaf, Queen T, and Queen Val. You look so spectacular. I don't know about Queen T, but hey, I'll take it. He said, yesterday was my birthday, so shout out to you, Joshua Ni Latte Lakai from Amani FM. We appreciate you sending your messages. Let's go into our next trend, I think. The director is going to surprise us. He will put something on the screen and we'll talk about it in a bit. Yeah.
But the fufu, I need bring back that fufu thing. Fufu under the Pokwasi interchange.
Pokwasi interchange. Polk City.
He needs to tell us. Oh, it's now called Polk City.
Yes, please. It's Polk City interchange.
Really?
Since the interchange came, you know, now levels
the
don't
swag
change.
has gone up.
Rent in Pokwasi has gone up.
They should let us know when the fufu.
So if it's at
begins,
night, I'm tempted to
I
think
want
that
to know the time.
it will be
Because I like to
maybe
drive by and see.
after 5 p.m.
I'll try drive by.
Perhaps
and see
we
what's
could.
happening.
You know what you could do, Eric? We are going. You know our WhatsApp line. When you see such scenes, just take a short video, send it to our WhatsApp number. It's 05555 61034. Send those videos to us, and then let us see exactly what you're onto there, and we'll follow up on it. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. And I think the director will put on that thing I was telling you about, and we'll come back and talk about it.
But ahead of that, I think this
There
is
you go.
this is Shatta. Shatta has come up with a new song.
So
Agrada.
And for
It's a
those who
new
don't
song.
know who is Agrada, those who don't know who Agrada is, who's Agrada?
Thunder will fire you.
Oh, she's like a priestess.
No,
Um,
Agrada is
she's
the name that
she's
the priestess has adopted.
Yes, a traditional priestess.
Okay, what's she known for?
She's known for being I'm not going to say that.
No, she's got like slogans.
She's actually the
She's converted.
lady who started the thingy on TV, some TV stations. And she does the Gary Sika Gary, and she's very controversial. She had lots of issues and arguments with lots of people.
I don't know what's Sika Gary.
Let's focus on Shatawale Sagrada.
I just don't know. Why she turns Gary into money?
Supposedly, I haven't seen it. But
She's like a magician or
Oh
something.
no, she's converted. She's a pastor. No,
What,
Yeah.
what,
Ghana,
she's,
we have
She's
so funny.
converted.
so she's an
you know.
ex-magician now?
She's
Ex-magician.
Oh, she has a.
So this is Shatawale Sagrada.
You do Thunderfire, now
Shatta.
Agrada. Hey,
Hey,
Charlie.
Charlie, 11
11
ring,
ring,
go
go
away.
away, you go sing, then we close. This is at Awale Numo. Awale is spoon, right?
Yeah, this is Awule Numo.
Awule. Okay, I thought it was
Awule.
Awale Numo. You do Thunderfire, now Agrada. Hey, Charlie. 11 ring, go away, you go sing, then we
And
close.
the audio slide on YouTube has over 18K views already.
Let's
and
listen.
just
Let's
18.
listen. I haven't listened to it. I started and then I stopped because we had to get ready.
Well, I did.
I want to hear what it sounds like.
I did
I
this
want
morning.
to be surprised.
Okay.
I did this morning, you know. And when I woke up, it was 17,000. So 1,000 added. Okay.
I just hope Bernard Nagada. Well, she's changed her name. She didn't tell Shatawale to pay royalties to her name.
If it hasn't been copyrighted, then.
I know.
You know, Shatta just jumps on trends. That's basically what he does, you know. Something that's trending, he jumps on it. It makes sense if you're a businessman, you know.
Jump on it.
Yeah, jump on the trend. And, you know, don't create the
I had
trend.
hoped that I would hear that song. I guess there was
There'll be
there's
other
something
opportunities.
lost there. Let's do other trends. The crate challenge is trending. It's becoming more popular. Why are you shaking your head, Cap?
Because
Like,
people, it should be,
dare to be different.
it should be renamed.
Look.
So people are walking on crates, you know.
Oh no, that does not look good.
This,
Ooh,
this,
people are
this,
hurting
this will end it
themselves.
here. This will end
No.
it here. This will end it here. Wallahi.
Come on.
For what? Who is paying
Come
you?
on, I'm rooting for
Abo,
you.
a blow.
That is not good.
Look at another one too here.
Look, I think because of all that's going on, everybody's just
And Cap
using.
wants to go on TikTok.
No, this is unemployment.
Kaba, if you go on TikTok, you have to keep up with these trends,
No,
such as this.
because you made it to the top. Now what happens?
Oops.
You have to like do something fun or
It's not important going up. Coming down is the issue.
see, they're getting to you.
Oh, he's reading a book.
Okay.
That's not bad. Get down from there.
Or his mask also following
I
COVID
saw a
protocols.
lady in the most highest of heels.
Oh, this was my favorite. This was my favorite. I think it was the Houston's, a Houston's game or something, like NBA or so,
Okay.
or some sort. Carefully made his way up those crates.
So what's the idea? You just go up and come down without falling.
Yes.
And I think the trick to it is that it depends on
Have you seen the lady in high heels?
Yes.
Oh.
It depends on how...
that lady is goals. It's life goals. It's like
so,
Nintendo.
Kaf, maybe since Kaf is so eager to get on TikTok, Kaf, you should probably start with the crate challenge.
Oh, you remember Super Nintendo? It's just like that. So
I
the guy
say,
goes up.
listen. We've all got it wrong.
Why?
It's actually the craze challenge.
No, it's
because
not.
you must be crazy to be doing something like this. People, you can break your neck.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I mean, other people would. And I saw an interesting tweet in relation to this crate challenge, and it was talking about how people would cheer you on even when they are hoping that you would fail. And he said, as funny as all these videos are, this challenge should be a lesson to all. It is also the equivalent to people trying to make it to the top in this walk of life, and how the world will laugh at you for trying and failing, ready to congratulate you if you actually make it. But you'd be surprised at how many of those same people giving you props honestly wanted to see you fall, just to satisfy their soul and feed their desires to laugh. Your success is never more important than their entertainment. And I found this, Montana of 300 on Twitter sent this out. I found this really, really, really profound. So they're just sharing you. It's like that the Messi, you know, yeah, no,
I sealed on it.
This is the craze challenge. CRAZE. Craze challenge. You'll be crazy to do a thing like this, you know. Break your neck for what? For shares and retweets? Come on, man.
Okay. Val, do you have something to add? I just want to read a few tweets, maybe.
Okay, please do.
Okay, so here's good morning. You guys are doing wonderfully well. I don't usually tune into this, you should. But for some months now, I'm loving the breakfast show. Keep it up. Thank you very much. That was Fission from Akuse. Thank you, Fish, for sending us that message. Keep watching us. This one says Central Regional First Vice Chairman donates 100 bags of cement to Abra Market women with our sister Eugenia's backing. I don't really understand that message. Hi guys. My name is Nane Chamboaje, a reporter in the GBC newsroom. Today is my pastor's birthday. Happy birthday to Reverend Obi, the founder and president of MOGPA, Moment of Prayer. May God bless him greatly. I love him so much. So we've read your message. Can I say, Ablaze?
Okay,
and you respond, for God.
All right. Another birthday shout out to Henry Asante Chum. He's the chief communicator for the Ghana Football Association, and we want to wish you the very best. Turning 40 today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
He doesn't look a day over 25.
He doesn't.
He doesn't look a day over 25.
He's always laughing.
He's
He's a great dancer too, you know.
And we had him first. He was at GBC for years.
Boogie Bruta.
Yeah. So GBC to
Coffee.
the world.
Yeah, GBC to the world.
Another way in the sports arena. Here's another message. Good morning, Tom. On behalf of my family members, we say thank you to all staff members of GTV, and we really appreciate it a lot. God bless you.
Which family? What's the family's name?
His family. So he didn't tell us his name, but it is from Mercy. I can just tell from the message that he sent us from yesterday. So Mercy picked up her souvenir from here yesterday. My producer should have that video, and I'll be really upset if he doesn't put it on at some point in the show. But thank you, Mercy. We all love you, and we know that you're watching us. Good morning to all people in Kasua. I'm humbled and so grateful. So thank you for coming by and for sharing your thoughts with us. GTV Breakfast is the program to watch every morning, 6 a.m. to 9:30, partnered by Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our WhatsApp number 05555 We'll be right back with more. Do not go away.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Join the
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Are you ready? It's heat hot, and we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on
News making the headlines. How to navigate traffic.
What's up with the weather?
Your health check. Getting you up to speed on
lifestyle,
Sports.
word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you. With the team you can trust.
it's breakfast, weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.
Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live.
Are you ready? It's heat hot.
And we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on
News making the headlines. How to navigate traffic.
What's up with the weather?
Your health check. Getting you up to speed on
lifestyle,
Sports.
word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you. With the team you can trust.
it's breakfast, weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.
Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
Show no smacks me. But you check what's wrong. I can't win him.
How the world has changed. Like COVID, BS.
Chumwa when a bus and panny now.
Chumwa is not nice. She's not a nice person. Wherever she goes, trouble, negativity follows.
That, you know, I'm in cool. Just in your name, dear. A big boy, I may have come to COVID-19. Watermelon, pineapple, orange. Yeah. Titi pa na ekoso wo fie ha.
Okuma na be fie no oye tin wo hodo. Onu e no ode entotwen be fie ha.
For staying on in this segment, we are engaging the Minerals Commission, and part of Ghana's mining regulation gives Ghanaians the sole right to operate in key areas in the sector, such as small-scale gold mining, as enshrined in the Local Content Act. In today's time with the Minerals Commission, we are continuing our discussions on the local content and local participation in the mining industry. In last edition, we looked at the contribution of the local content and local participation to Ghana's economy. We looked at the challenges and we looked at the outlook of the policy. We've been joined once again by Mr. Collins Enim Saki, Director, Policy Planning and Mineral Title of the Minerals Commission. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning.
Last week you mentioned that there is a new local content and local participation regulation 2020. What's the rationale behind bringing this on board? And let's do that by, first of all, let's do that recap of what we did last week. We talked about what it means for Ghana's economy, what it means for the gaps that the Ghanaian companies will fill in the system, and then how much money it will bring us. We also looked at some of the challenges. So let's recap that and rope that into the rationale for why this new mining regulation is important.
Thank you very much. I think as I said last week, we had a law in place which was passed in 2012, and that was it was a general law. We call it the Minerals and Mining General Regulation. General in the sense that it was not dealing with just local content, but it was dealing with other regulations as well as local content. So we felt that we could have a dedicated local content document, a document which only contains local content issues. So that was one of the reasons that led us to deciding on getting a local content and local participation regulation 2020. The second part was, as I said, the first one was passed in 2012. After working with that, implementing it for 8 years, we saw that there were certain challenges that you alluded to. We talked about that last week. There were certain opportunities that we also identified, and we felt that we could have a new local content and local participation law which will be able to address the challenges that we saw in the implementation of the previous one, and then also probably the opportunities that we identified, how we could also put that in the new local content, the local participation regulation. So that was the two reasons. I think the third one could probably be the fact that in the first one there was no issue on gender responsiveness. Luckily, in the current one, we're able to have something on gender responsiveness.
What does that mean?
In the sense that when companies are engaging people, when they are submitting their report to the Minerals Commission on the implementation of it, we want to see things on women in mining, gender issues. How many, if you are engaging people, how do you take into consideration the fact that there should be some form of gender balance, even though we know that mining previously seems to be the men kind of thing. But these days we have women in mining, and we want to see how we could put gender issues in mining. So that was one of the things. And as I said, there were a number of new things that have been introduced in the current one. The first, we talk about services which were not in the old one, which we said that we have brought it into the new one so that it could be done by Ghanaians. We talk about the haulage services, we talk about the catering services, we talk about the security services, the supply of food and other things to the mining industry. These were things that were not in the old one, but we felt that we should have it in the new local content so that we'll be able to get Ghanaians into provision of such services. There were new rules, certain rules, which in practice were saying that, yes, reserve such rules for Ghanaians. But those were done in practice. We felt that now it is good to document that in the regulation. Things like human resource and related rules, where in the past years we would say that no, don't engage an expatriate in a human resource rule. But now we have it in the regulation. It's law, and you need to abide by them. the corporate affairs rules, which, yes, we now also have it in the new local content. There are the general manager rules, which I talked about the other day, that yes, you can have general manager who is an expatriate at the commencement of your operations. But 3 years after the commencement of your operation, you need to localize that role and fill it with a Ghanaian. My manager role is completely Ghanaian. It should not be at any point in time, right from the beginning of your operation, the my manager role should be reserved for Ghanaian. Finance, accounting, related services are to be reserved for Ghanaians. So these are some of the roles that were not in the first one, but we have brought them on board in the second or the current local content issues. Apart from that, there are certain key services. For instance, technical and engineering services. In the past, it was not unusual to find some of the companies flying in an expatriate to come into the country, or sign contracts with a foreign company to come and provide such services, engineering and technical services. But we said no. It is unheard of. You can't find it anywhere where a company that is not registered in any country, to go to such country and provide services. Now, what we're saying now is that if you have to engage a company to provide engineering and technical services, the first option should be given to a Ghanaian company. That is the first option. If you're unable to find a Ghanaian company to provide such services, then the second option is that look for a foreign company which is registered in Ghana with the Registrar of Companies and with the Minerals Commission. And then that foreign company can form a joint venture or can collaborate with a Ghanaian company to provide that services. So that was not there. We have that now in. Then we have the legal services as well. What the new laws seeks to do is that you cannot, it was going on, you can find a company bringing in a foreign lawyer to come and help them in dealing with legal issues in the country. Sometimes they hire them under compliance officers. But what we say now is that if you have to engage somebody for legal services, the person must be someone who is licensed or certified to do so or to practice in Ghana. If for some reason you have to get a foreign partner, a foreign lawyer to assist, he has to do so in collaboration with a Ghanaian lawyer, certified lawyer. So that is also with the legal services.
So the local participation, yes, it also makes room for certain levels of small-scale mining to be reserved solely for Ghanaians. But we find ourselves in a position where foreigners have openly engaged in small-scale mining, even illegal mining, because not all small-scale mining is illegal. How does the Minerals Commission handle issues of such nature?
Thank you. You are right. Small-scale mining is preserved for Ghanaians. Ownership of small-scale mining right from the inception in 1989, when the small-scale mining was legalized, ownership was reserved for Ghanaians. So it means that no foreigner can apply for licenses to own small-scale mining. Along the line, we noticed that mining was becoming sophisticated. People will need equipment to carry on with the activities that they provide. So we allowed companies to work as mine support service companies to provide what we call contract mining services to small-scale miners. So some foreign companies, I think it started somewhere in 2000 or thereabout. So some few foreign companies we were allowed to register as mine support service companies to provide support services to Ghanaians through provision of equipment, through provision of finances, and then through provision of technical knowledge to assist them in doing that. Along the line, once again, when we realized that people were taking opportunity, because you go to a small-scale mine site where you expect to see the owner of the mine there, he's not there. He has more or less abandoned the area and given it to the foreigner to operate there. So we stopped. When we passed this 2012, when we passed the Minerals and Mining Support Services Regulation, it reserved even the support services which previously we were allowing foreigners to do. It reserved that also only for Ghanaians. So what is doing that? It barred foreigners from providing support services to small-scale miners. There was a clause in that law anyway that those who had been given, who were in place, who were providing support services, the foreigners who were providing support services to small-scale mining, before the law came into force in 2012, would be permitted to do so until the minister determines so. So there were 6 companies at the time. 5 of them folded up at a point in time along the line. It was left to just one company, which was Shanzi, somewhere in the Upper East, which whose registration has also been terminated now. So as we speak now, there is no foreign company that has been registered by the Minerals Commission who or has been given legal backing to provide support services to small scale. If anyone is doing that, it is illegal.
So can we say it is a lapse in our monitoring systems if we are seeing foreigners engaging actively in mining at all and even in illegal mining?
At the moment, if you find anyone doing that, it is illegal. I will not, well, partly, you can say partly monitoring, but where these people find themselves, sometimes it is difficult to locate them. Now, who brought them to the hinterland where they are working? And remember, these people sometimes carry out the activities in the night, midnight, when everyone is asleep. So it's difficult. It will be possible to eliminate this kind of canker if we have the backing and support of the community where these activities have been taking place.
So it brings me to my next question. What's the level of engagement with the mining communities themselves? Because when you go to Obuasi, for example, for a mining town, it seems to lack in a lot of, social and basic amenities. So how can we expect those communities to have the capacity to provide the services that the local, the mining companies even need so that they themselves can benefit? How do we ensure that mining communities are not left out in this whole drive to encourage local participation in our mining industry?
I think in the past, companies were supporting the community through their CSRs, the community corporate social responsibilities.
Let me quickly announce the phone lines so that we invite others to join in this conversation. We are talking to the Minerals Commission and we are talking about local content and local participation. There's a law in the offing and we are discussing what all that could mean for Ghanaian companies who are interested in providing services to the mining industry. The number to call is 0543 664 264 0543 664 264, and that number will be displayed on your screen. Call us and let Mr. Inim Saki know what your thoughts are on what we are currently discussing. So we are talking about how mining communities
they were helping through the CSR. Now we are moving towards what we call the community development agreement. We expect that before the mining companies starts operating, there should be some form of agreement between the community and the mining company, which spells out the obligation of the mine, what the community expects from the mining company, and then in terms of development, and it could be probably getting an institution available so that we can train our own, so that they can feed into the mine whenever there is an industry to get labor for the mine. So it's an agreement which will address a number of issues.
And the law that's is being cooked now, if I can put it that way, do you identify challenges with its implementation? Because if you're starting a venture, by all means, you would have weighed possible risks.
Okay. It's a new law, it was passed just 2020. We just started implementing it. But as I said, you cannot say that it's an entirely new law because there was one in place in 2012. And as I said, the challenges that we identified with the implementation of the old one, we try to address them in this one. So I think it's a new day early, and we hope that, as we move on, if there are any challenges, we'll see how we address them. As it is now, we've just started implementing it, and we've not encountered any challenges as it.
Right. We are talking about companies providing catering, fuel services, providing haulage services. I've asked you this previously. Do we have the local capacity to provide these services so that there will not be need to fall on the expatriates? Because there's always a clause that says if this cannot be provided, then foreigners can come on board.
The clause does not apply to those services that you just mentioned. Catering services is completely Ghanaian, and we do not think we have any Ghanaian company that is providing catering services to a mining company have gotten themselves into any challenge. We believe that we have the people who can provide such catering services, and they've been doing so since I think for the past 4 or 5 years when we started doing that through the support services. Security services, again, the same thing. We have companies that are providing security services. Once a while, they may want to bring in, if they want to provide some form of training to some people, they may want to be 1 or 2 expatriates along the line to provide some form of training to the people. Fuel supply, we have not had any challenge. We have Ghanaian companies providing fuel to other sectors of the economy. So when we decided that, yes, let's reserve fuel supply to mining industry to Ghanaians, we have not had any challenge. It's going on smoothly.
Right. You can join the conversation. The number to call is 0543-664-264, 0543-664-264. Mr. Enim,
yes.
What's the level of engagement between the Minerals Commission and its stakeholders in making sure that the contents of this law are made public and everybody understands clearly what their roles and expectations and responsibilities should be?
Thank you. We are very much aware that no law will stand the test of time if you do not get the buy-in of the stakeholders that you're working with. So before the law itself was put in place, we had a number of stakeholder engagement. With the CSOs, we had also stakeholder engagement with the Ghana Chamber of Mines before the law was finally implemented. As I said, when we have to put up a list of local procurement list, the item that we put on the list, we together with the chamber, we discuss and then agree on what we need to put on that. Because there is no point putting something on the list which cannot be implemented. So yes, there is a great collaboration between us and our stakeholders. When it comes to Ghana immigration, for instance, you know, when expatriates who work in the mining industry have to do so, they will need to get work permit from Ghana Immigration Service. But it's the Minerals Commission that will have to make recommendation on behalf of such expatriates through their mining companies to immigration. We have a forum where when the mining company submits its localization plan of expatriates that will be used and the Ghanaians that will be used, when the plan is approved, whenever the mine wants to apply for work resident permit for these expatriates, they will have to channel the application through us. We'll look at the plan that has been approved. Yes, is that rule meant for an expatriate? The recommendation. If it is not, we won't. So there is that kind of.
Before we wrap up today, you want people to always remember when it comes to law, the one thing they can forget everything else, but the thing you want to remember about local content and local participation law is what?
The law is made for all of us. As Ghanaians, we should position ourselves to take advantage of the several opportunities that we have in the local content law. So positions have been reserved for Ghanaians. What are you doing? Are you training yourself in certain way that you will be able to take advantage of set roles. Services have been reserved for Ghanaians. Are you positioning yourself in certain way that will be able to also take advantage of that and provide services to those people? We have made what we call a certain margin of preference in the law, which says that when mining companies are assessing tenders, where bids are within, say, certain percentage, they should give that to the one with the highest Ghanaian content. That is in terms of ownership of the company, in terms of management of the company, in terms of employment of the company. So I think that we should position ourselves in such a position that we'll be able to take advantage of the good things in the law.
Mr. Saki, thank you for the insights as well today, and we'll engage again probably next week and go to another level of conversation on this Minerals Commission drive to educate the public on issues arising from the mining sector, opportunities for local companies as well. Thank you so much. Mr. Collins Inim Saki is the Director, Policy Planning and Mineral Title of the Minerals Commission. He's been explaining the new local content and local participation law 2020 to us, and he's talked about opportunities. He says, are you positioning yourself to take advantage of some of these positions that have been reserved for Ghanaians alone? We are talking about positions in finance and HR, positions in tech, engineering and legal services. So all that have been reserved strictly for Ghanaians. So you might want to consider those if you're considering studying a course in a university. Who knows, you might land a mining company job, and that's what the Minerals Commission is making sure happens. You're watching Breakfast on GTV. We are out and about in town. Our cameras are around. They are keeping an eye on so many things. They are monitoring traffic situations in key parts of the capital. You don't want to miss the breakfast show thanks to our sponsors, Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shoulder Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, and we are proud to be partnered with you. GTV Breakfast returns shortly after this break. You don't want to miss the next part. Stay with us. We're keeping an eye on traffic situations in the capital, and Daryl is monitoring events at the Obechebi-Lamte interchange. So that's very close to the Kaneshi market, very close to Abosukai, the hub of spare parts in Accra. Daryl, what can you tell us is happening at Obechebi-Lamte interchange?
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Obechebi-Lamte circle. It's rush hour. Thelma, as you can see from the traffic situation behind me, that's northwards from Circle traveling towards Kaneshi, Kolebu, and its general direction. You will find that due to the U-turning directly in front of the Royal House Chapel, traffic from behind me is slightly slower. However, beyond them, it files really very smooth. You can also see, since it's rush hour, there is a rush hour Coco seller behind me. And she's actually getting a good amount of traffic for what she does in the morning. It's rush hour, and that's rush hour for you. Coco is rushing. Workers are getting themselves sorted out for the morning. Now, to my eastwards, traffic flowing from Accra over the interchange towards Kaneshi, you'll find it is also really very smooth. There isn't that much apart from trotros. Instead of going over the interchange using the lay-by in order to pick up passengers. And this is what is bringing on just a little traffic. And that is what commuters would want to keep an eye on. If you're traveling from Accra towards Kaneshie, you'd want to keep an eye on traffic towards the overhead, especially between the old MTN offices in the general direction of Kaneshie, Odoko, and then also Kolebu, possibly, if you're coming to use this roundabout towards Kolebu. Now, but beyond that, you would find the construction works is also bringing on a little traffic, but due to the overhead and the barricades, you cannot see from beyond that. But there is a little traffic due to the construction works ongoing over there. Now, a little background to this interchange. It started a few years ago. The first phase completed in 2020, and the second phase commenced this year. It is actually very fast ongoing, and commuters approaching this very roundabout would want to be slightly careful. If you can find alternatives, you may want to use the Abudume end in order to come around the back of the Kaneshie market, because beyond the roundabout in the Kaneshie direction, there is a little traffic that holds you about 5 minutes and you're fine to go. This is so far what the situation is at this traffic light, at this interchange. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Alan Darrow, for those details. It certainly looks like it is a moving situation near the Obechebi Lamte interchange. So we are monitoring traffic. It's rush hour, and we are trying to bring you up to speed on what to expect at certain locations across the capital. Let me quickly take a few messages. This one is from Joel Atrebi from Kaswanyanyano. You say, good morning, GTV Breakfast. Thank you, Joel, for sending us that message. Another one here says, this is Bola Bed inside Tema Community 1, site 18. Bola Bed has sent us a video and we'll have a look at it. It's talking about the fufu joint that has sprung up at Park City Interchange. So we're looking at that video, and once the producers determine what we are seeing on what you've sent us, we'll come back to comment about it. Teacher Kojo Tiobodom Adantase, Ghanaians will remember former President Mahama for his tour to bring food to our table and to give Ghanaian youth jobs. That's a very long-winded one, so I can't read everything. You know, the secret to having your messages read is to keep it as straight to the point as possible. If you write a whole paragraph, chances are we may not be able to go through the whole list. So since it's rush hour, let's get to another location. Jay Gabra is in the Teshi area. Jay, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Thelma. So from Obechebi Lamte Interchange, we are coming to you from the Teshi Nungwa Search, which is Teshi First Junction to be precise. So the scene you're witnessing this morning is what's going on behind me. So, you know, this year is the year of roads, and then as they are constructing the roads here, it has exacerbated the traffic situation. So you realize those coming from Nungwa and Teshi, and also Tema and all that, or when they get to this area, they have to use the entrance just behind me. And you realize it sort of chokes the vehicles as they try to use that entrance. As we've been here this morning, there have been 2 incidents already. And you realize there was a trailer that was moving and trying to enter, and a saloon car that was also trying to enter as well. They are the ones directly behind me. And then at the bus stop, which was a commercial vehicle trying to load passengers, also ran into another vehicle as well. So it created some form of another commotion, which led to another stopping to watch. So these are the scenes happening right now at Teshi First Junction. The drivers have complained in the form of shouting to me that they should hurry up, fix it. So we are praying that by the time the road construction is done, the roadway is eased, so they can get to work easily. So for those of you who are coming from Nungwa, and there's a situation you will be facing. Fortunately, there are lots of alternative routes within Teshi itself. So if you can use your Google Maps or Google Earth, depending on the app you prefer, you will find an alternative route you can use to avoid the congestion right here. It leads all the way to Mobile, and it takes you to various destinations, be it Adi, Accra, Circle, or anywhere where you are headed. So if you can avoid this, that will be very, very helpful. So these are the scenes which are happening right now at Teshi First Junction. This is Rush Hour. Back to you, Thelma, in the studio.
Thank you, Jay. Teshi First Junction looks like a little bit of chaos going on with those two accidents, but it looks like it is moving. So if you're traveling on that side of the road, be mindful. That's what you should expect. Messages on our Facebook stream. Kojo Asempa Furniture Works, you always send messages. You're saying so wonderful. It's wonderful to hear from you again. Thank you. You send us that message from Edum Kumasi. Mike Davis Hampton is saying you guys are doing well. My greetings to Malavita. Mike says hi, but we the youth are so angry. You didn't tell me why the youth are so angry. I wish you could, so that we understand the message better. Nyameche Stephen, you're saying good morning, and that's a steaming cup of coffee. Very refreshing to see, because I always have my cup of coffee here as well. Good breakfast to have on GTV. Mike is saying Kafui was my mate in Mauli School. So there you go, Kaf. More of your mates showing up. Kwame Atta, good morning, Ghana. Good morning to you, Kwame Atta. He's saying he is watching from London. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Morning, mate. I know you can relate very well to that. Atujange Dixon says great show. David Encho says ultra high pictures GTV breakfast. Thank you. Robert Sov says hashtag GTV breakfast. Na Latele Latte. Good morning, Uncle Calf. Yep. And Pedro, so many messages saying good morning. Live from Kumasi Tano. So Maldina Cruz. Warning, don't try this at home. I bet that's in relation to the crate challenge. Definitely do not try it. It's quite dangerous as well. We would love to hear more from you. Message us on our WhatsApp line is 05555 61034. Watch us on DSTV channel 278. We are also on all social media platforms, so follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. And don't forget to share our content as well. We'll be back with the headlines, and Kaf and his team are ready and standing by. They'll be looking at all the top stories that made it into the papers this morning, and you don't want to miss it. There's more ahead in this program. We'll be back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, we just rock to the next level. Get it to the next level. Get it to the next level. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumpy, so we try to suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the one do, we go straight to stardom. Take you to next level, baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level, but baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Take you to next level, baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code next level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Coming live from the capital, this is The Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is The Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is The Breakfast Show. Coming.
Are you ready? It's heat hot, and we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on
News making the headlines. How to navigate traffic.
What's up with the weather?
Your health check. Getting you up to speed on
lifestyle,
sports.
Word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you. With the team you can trust.
It's breakfast, weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
So we back with support from Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Awake Purified Drinking Water. This is GTV Breakfast. Remember this WhatsApp number, 055-556-1034. 055-556-1034 for all your feedback. So we heard that some people have set up fufu joints around the Pokwasi interchange, Polk City. So we've got some pictures we want to show you right now. We asked for verification, and here comes the verification. So this is actually happening at the Polk City interchange. You see somebody vigorously pounding fufu in the night. Night fufu. This is just over the bar. It should not be happening. This is crazy. Permits, regulations being flouted. You cannot have your fufu under the interchange, man. This is it's a risk. Anything could happen, you know. Somebody veers off the road, jumps into your abenkwa and your fufu in the night, and now because of hunger you go die for the roadside. So authorities need to look at that. That's a Pokwasi interchange, and there's midnight fufu or night fufu going on right now. I mean, every night, which shouldn't be the case. We got a message from one of our viewers, so that's something that we check. Nip in the bud immediately before this thing gets out of hand. So thank you very much for sending us those pictures of night fufu at the Pokwasi interchange. Talking of food, though, somebody just told me that they had whiskey and groundnuts for breakfast. Whiskey and groundnuts. What a combination. I'm just curious, what kind of weird breakfast have you had in your life? And I'm getting feedback on Facebook. Fufu with hot pepper and kako. It was too much. Philip sending us that. And somebody said, Lambert said vitamin C solution with pear and bread. Hey, what a combination. Vitamin C solution with pear and bread. Equia says, fufu hoho with agbometadi. Fufu hoho is old fufu from last night with agbometadi. Agbometadi is pepper and the ground. Fufu and pepper. Wow. I think I'll take another one. Holy Akpena Amwaku says agbelikaklo with tea. Keep them coming in. 055-556-1034. I wonder what my panelists have had for breakfast. Talking of kako, and right on the time we have former Central Regional Minister who is here with us from the land of the headquarters of kako in the world, Akwenasteria Kwanzaa. Good morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning, bro.
What's the weirdest breakfast you've had?
The weirdest, I think it was in Kumasi. It was as early as 5:30.
What did you have?
Fufu and akrante. I mean, because it was around 5:30.
5:30 a.m. The akrante was fresh.
One time.
This is a midnight travel.
I tell you.
It was nice.
Oh, it is. It was. I mean, No, you can't go wrong with that fufu.
At all, no matter what the
fufu,
time.
That's their boss.
That's about Dr. Henry Kwawula Kokofu, Executive Director for EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Good morning, welcome to you.
Good morning.
And what's the weirdest breakfast you've ever had in your life?
Yeah, good morning to our cherished viewers and to my big brother. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes, and to your good self.
Thank you very much.
Yes, he said Akrantie and fufu.
Early morning, 5:30.
And you know, that time Akrantie was banned. It was a closed season, so it was an offense to hunt and eat wild animal. And he did. Here
in Ashanti region.
Yes.
Like the Ashantis would die.
What are you talking about? You're running away from the question. What's the strangest breakfast you've had?
Well, I don't think it was strange because I've been doing. Wache, race course wache.
Okay.
Mango down, yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I used to mornings.
How
breakfast, yes. It's hot with the shito as well and an egg pear. The combination is nice.
No, I think I like it. I'm going to look for it. Race course wache.
Yes,
I'll check
mango down, yes.
Mango down.
You can have a little bit of your gari. And then macaroni, it's not an easy thing.
Bad. It's not easy
at all. And yes, Sister Lydia will always get you.
Who is Sister Lydia? The one in charge?
No, she's one of the campaigns of Panama constituency.
I see.
Yes, one of the women organizers, and she's she's very serviceable. It's always at your beck and call, so far as what she is concerned.
Welcome back.
I have to get the number. Yes, anytime I land,
I'll do so.
You sort it out.
I'll do so.
I understand you just flew in from town not too long ago. What took you away from Ghana?
Yes, I arrived yesterday. I went with the delegation headed by the Minister for Energy, Honorable Dr. Marty Bokubrempe. It was for Oil Technology Conference in Houston, Texas. Texas, in the United States of America. And I had the opportunity also to do my staff of environmental protection.
Awesome.
So yes, I had a good opportunity meeting with my counterparts in Texas. That is the Environmental Protection Agency equivalent.
All right.
In that state.
Okay.
And it was quite good.
Awesome.
Soon we will have collaboration. Ghana EPA. And there's they call Texas Commission for Environmental Quality.
Okay.
Yes.
We look forward to that.
Yes.
Welcome back.
They are doing well.
Glad you came back safely.
Thank you.
Mr. Kwanzaa, big news coming out of northern Ghana. I heard this on the radio. On Unique FM yesterday, and it's on the front page of today's Ghanaian Times. Danger looms at Nab Dam, Boku areas. Bagre Dam spillage commences on Friday. Farmers, residents warned to move to higher grounds. So the Upper East Regional Directorate of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has cautioned residents and farmers along the White Volta to move to high grounds as the annual spillage of the Bagre Dam from neighboring Burkina Faso could commence this Friday in 2 days' time. So Mr. Jerry Asamini says information received from Burkina Faso indicated that the level of the dam was rising rapidly, and the opening of the valves to the facility would start from August 27 to August 30. So managers of the Bagre and Kompienga dams in Burkina Faso, which is Sonabel, according to Asamani, has stated that the current upstream level of the Kompiengu dams as of Monday, 2 days ago, was 174.05 meters, and the filling rate was for 9.12% against 42.72%. So what is happening, what is important is that when this thing happens, this spillage happens, livestock are destroyed, properties are destroyed, farms get submerged. Hardest hit areas include Binduri, Garu, Boku West, Talensi, Nabdam districts, and Boku municipality in the Upper East region. If you live in those areas, we'd like to hear from you. Send us a WhatsApp. How are preparations going? 055 56 1034. So the areas again: Binduri, Garu, Boku West, Talensi, Nabdam, and Boku municipality. Now, let's give you some background. So in 2019, 23 communities were affected in the Upper East region, and lots of people were affected. We're looking at over 10,000 people affected, leading to a total of 31,000 people affected in 2 regions in the northern parts of Ghana, northern region and Upper East. NADMO has signaled this thing happens every year, Mr. Kwanzaa. Are we ready this time?
I don't think we are, but if we will all remember somewhere in 2019, October somewhere, our vice president promised us that they were going to build a $750 million worth of dam just to help the people around that area. You know, like a catchment, water catchment area. And it's been 2 years, and we've not seen anything yet. I mean, it was a very laudable idea. I mean, because all those waters go waste. We could just trap these waters and use them to, at least as a source of main supply to little dams around the region, for them to be used during the dry season for farmers. But I don't know where the project is, where even if they started. But we were told, I mean, if you could remember, it was a $750 million worth of a dam. That tells you, I mean, it's going to be massive. We can even later on even use it to generate hydroelectricity and so on. And I believe at this time we shouldn't be talking about, or we shouldn't be scared about the spillage of the Bagri Dam. I mean, it's something that has been with us for so many years. Governments have come, governments have gone, and me particularly was very happy when this announcement was made somewhere in October 2019, and nothing is happened. Is it that we had the money, or it was to be built at Pualugu? That's what the vice president said. It should be built at Pualugu. That is not seeing the light of day. And I hope that thing is done, because right now, as we sit here, we have only about how many days for the
2 days?
2 days.
Spillage begins on Friday.
Yeah, and we are going to have to go up there and be supporting our brothers and sisters with relief items.
Let me bring in Dr. Kokofu. You head the Environmental Protection Agency. What are the environmental implications of this spillage, which is an annual occurrence?
Well, just as you enumerated, the outcomes hadn't been anything good. It's been perennial. It's been with us agreeably, and the Pualugu Dam that my brother is talking about is ongoing. It will be quite okay if we can reach out to the authorities to see how far it's been to. I don't have much information on those.
Yeah, sod was cut November 29, 2019. That's the time the sod was cut.
Yes, but the construction have begun. Yes, so your construction have begun and it's ongoing. It's a big project that seeks to help alleviate this problem. See, environmental issues, matters of this, when it comes to flooding and other, there are two major sources. One could be said to be force majeure, where you can't do anything. It's an act of nature that you can do anything towards it. And the other is man-made or somehow deliberate. And this is exactly what we are facing. We are aware that the Bagri Dam every year the collection of water has to be given way by the opening. So we cannot say it is a forced measure. No, it's something that we are very much aware and anticipating. As to what to do is what remains the matter now. Unfortunately, most of our compatriots who are within the affected areas tend to not to heed to advice and to relocate or vacate their places of residence until the whole thing begins.
But where are they supposed to go? I mean, is there a place where you leave your home to go where?
Yes,
I mean, it's one thing saying leave your premises because water is coming, but where are they where are they supposed to go?
Well, one thing good with our northern sector, the territory, is that land is not an issue. Land space is not an issue. We have large tracts of land unoccupied or uninhabited. But I agree that settlement is not easy, that once you get settled in a particular place, you have to move all of a sudden and all that. But again, back to it, we are fully aware that it's become an annual ritual. So what do you do not to move? You understand? And authorities have consistently and persistently asked people not to farm around those areas so as to be affected heavily. But then another recalcitrant kind of thing. The entire challenge has to be confronted squarely as it is. We cannot continue as a nation to be living with this and knowing very well that every year we are going to be confronted, our people up there are going to be confronted with this catastrophe.
Does this fall under your is it something in your inbox? Issues of spillage, is it an environmental issue for you?
Indeed, everything is under environmental protection, everything, including your broadcasting business. Yes, because you are emitting radiations, and it is for EPA to regulate and to see.
So the Bagre Dam spillage specifically?
No, there's nothing specifically, so to speak. We have irrigation authority there. We have the Volta River Authority also there. So there are direct authorities that are involved in managing this kind of spillage and all that.
Okay.
Yes. Beside that, the local governance system, the district and municipal assemblies within the catchment areas have the primary responsibility to ensure that these things are done and catered for. Okay. Even though with the funding or the support coming from the center. But we at EPA are very much concerned critically because we're not looking at destruction of properties alone, but life. People may lose their life, they may lose their complete livelihood and all manner of things. Okay. It comes in the wake of also living erosion and other things that affect the soil quality and then the landscape, the entire landscape and all that. So we are very much concerned.
Okay.
This year, but for information, I've asked our Upper East and Upper West, I mean the regional directors up north, to be in constant touch with the authorities to see how best we can all come in and then solve the problem once and for all.
Okay, and it's good that NADWO has flagged this. Yeah. So we are still asking you, if you live in the affected areas, Biduri, Garu, Boku West, Talensi, Nabdam, Boku municipality, let us know how you are preparing for this, because it is going to happen. They are going to open, do the spillage from Friday, which is just 2 days away. We'd like to find out from you. You can send us pictures or send us messages on our WhatsApp 055-556-1034. 055-556-1034. You're watching Breakfast on GTV.
You know, quick one. You know what happened elsewhere. In Houston, you on the street you come across a signpost and then information flowing that we are in hurricane season, get prepared. We are in hurricane season, get prepared.
Right.
And this one is an act of nature though, but they are very much aware that it will come. We went to town one day and it rained heavily. The whole place got flooded, and vehicular movement ceased. Everything ceased for almost 30 minutes in the city of Houston. So it's not too peculiar with us, but then most of the things it's our own doing that we can do much better.
All right,
let's I believe we should permanently relocate. I mean, it's not every season you have to ask people to move to higher ground or whatever. If we know higher grounds are the safer, government should help relocate the villages on the waterway to a higher ground so that we don't need to go in and do firefight. At least we know that when the water, and it's an annual event, and it's been happening since 1957. And I believe it's about time we permanently relocate the residents to a higher ground. You know, because if you look at where, if you know that area very well, you realize that it's very flat.
Yeah, low place.
Low place. So if the water is coming, it's coming. No hold there, because it will destroy anything on its way. You know, and especially I'm scared for Binduri. Binduri is very low, and it's going to really cause some havoc. We need to permanently move the residents, especially on that water. We know where the water passes. It's not like today it will change its course. We know where the water passes. So we should try as much as possible as a nation to relocate those people and to make sure we also speed up the construction if it is started. My brother said it's started.
Well, a contract was awarded to Sino Hydro. It's almost $1 billion.
It was part of the Sino Hydro deal. I know it was part of the, and we know the snack of, you know, like, you know, it's not all the monies that are in, and some of the projects, I mean, they are choosing and picking the project that needs to be done. And I don't know for sure the level of completion at that place. Even if they started.
Give me 15 months. 15 months is 2 years, 2 months.
And 15 months.
50 months.
Yeah. So, okay. So no, but if it's 50 months, and right now we've done almost 2 years, so that is 48 months.
Yeah, we'll send our team up there to go and see what's going on.
Thank you.
Yes, and
let's move away from this now.
Yes, I agree. But the important thing is when we have issues or we have ideas, projects like this, that stands to help the nation. I mean, it's a national cause. I strongly believe that it's important we put our political lineage and thinkings aside and support such a thing. You remember the Sino Hydro deal, how our colleagues in Parliament, the minority, how they teared it up and down here and there, and nearly caused its suspension or premature death, stillborn. So now it has come with us.
Okay.
It's something intended to solve a major problem that we all inherited as politicians, as leaders, and all that. So next time round, it should be a lesson for us.
Alrighty.
Once we know it is for a national cause, it's something that
rally
is
behind a national cause.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it was like it was born out of nothing that people were then. If you listen to the minority then, they were talking about why we are ceding all our bauxite. You know, that is where we were coming from, not about the particular project. We've gone for similar monies before. But what we are saying is you don't tie that to the future, I mean, the bauxite deposit. That is where our people were coming from. They were not against any of the projects listed in the deal,
but the leverage
is the leverage. Okay. Yes, the leveraging is where then we had a little problem.
You can agree to disagree. I agree that we should move on to the next topic. So the president is in Germany on a tour. Saw some video of some fixed country people who were trying to make their voices heard. He acknowledged them, even fist bumped some of them, and went ahead to have conversations with his counterparts. There's a picture here of the president with the outgoing chancellor, Mrs. Angela Merkel. And the story is on, well, two angles. There's Ghana ready to trade on global market in made in Ghana products, says the president, front page of today's Ghanaian Times. And on the front page of today's day graphic, we are building a prosperous and dynamic nation, President assures, in Germany. So he is there for 7 days at the invitation of the Chancellor Angela Merkel. And he addressed so many people, including the president from North Rhine-Westphalia. And he says, among other things, that Ghana is determined to participate fully in the global marketplace as an exporter of manufactured goods, not raw materials. He talked about how Ghana was drawing inspiration from some parts of Germany. He talked about trade and investment. He talked about transparency and inclusiveness. And he talked about Ghana being ready to trade on the global market in made Ghana products. Is Ghana ready, Mr. Kwanzaa, to take our made in Ghana beyond just raw materials? Are we ready?
I think it's something that we need a lot of education on. I mean, we even locally, we don't consume locally made goods.
I think of Ghana rice. It's tough marketing Ghana rice. Ghanaians don't want to eat Ghana rice.
Yeah, it's about time we conscientize our people to start patronizing. If you don't patronize it down here, forget about sending it out there. Because people will come in and do their market survey and see how well the product is being accepted in its own background. You know, but I think it's about time we move to that level, because our cocoa, definitely we don't need to send cocoa beans out there. We need to add value to it before sending it out. There you create jobs locally, then the rest you leave it for them. Because right now, look, you go and buy chocolate and go to our supermarket, apart from Golden Tree chocolate, and recently added, I think,
niche,
yeah,
different types
coming in, and that is the way to go. If we are able to get to that level where our chocolate can compete, and our chocolate seriously can compete anywhere. I mean, I remember somewhere in 2011, the Golden Tree chocolate won some award in Switzerland. Now, Switzerland is the home of chocolate, but meanwhile they don't grow one single bean of cocoa. And I believe it's about time we add, and we make sure the citizenry really buy into, believe in. Look,
so your point is that the authorities need to get the citizens buying into made in Ghana products.
Yes,
made in Ghana products.
You see, rice. If you say rice, locally made rice, look how many schools do we have? How many the military bases, the police, those they cook for? I mean, government have the power to buy. You know, if they start buying the locally made rice, it will really empower the rice farmers to grow more. And the more they grow, the cheaper it becomes. But now looking at where, if you go to a farm, a rice farm of about 10 acre or a 10 acre farm, I mean, this guy does everything manually. You know, plant manually, harvest manually, even beat the rice, you know. So we hardly get a whole grain rice. You know, it's about time we move to the next level. You see, Ghana is a country we shouldn't be importing rice. That one, you know, I've done a lot of work on that particular rice thing.
Tell me about it.
You see, we have a lot of areas. Even just take the northern part of the country. You have the Fumbisi Valley, you have the Katanga Valley. Go to the Botanga Valley. Those areas alone, almost, we are talking about over 20,000 hectares of arable land. You have access of water. Now they are going to open the Bagri dams. Where are we going to keep the water? So we build proper irrigation system. and let's go into rice farming commercially. I mean, if you do that subsistence like 2 acres, 1 acre, and we build rice mill across the country where you can mill rice properly. Look, that area can give us the rice that we need and even export some. Forget about the Afefe and the Aveime area, the Bakpa, Newsa. Forget about those areas. Let's even look at, you see, Kwame Nkrumah had a plan. You see, even Accra Plain. You know, Accra Plain was purely for rice production. That is where we have the Dounya and the Afenia irrigation. It was to feed into the Accra Plains, to send water from the Volta to Accra Plains, to make sure now Accra Plains is residential. You know, and these are the areas earmarked for massive rice production. If you drive towards Adan, you know, it's a traditional rice crop plant. Look, flat land, and funny enough, all rice needs is water. You can grow rice even on this table if you give it water and the right nutrients that it needs, it grows. So all we need to do is to be serious as government and make sure we invest heavily in the production of rice, not only rice and other cereals. And believe you me, we will even have enough to eat and to export.
Mr. Consa sounds like a rice consultant. We'll talk
about
I've
worked on a rice farm before.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had the chance of going outside, study rice and cereal production.
Where in the world?
Mississippi State University in the US.
Okay.
I mean,
you're a rice
I was the project manager for the defunct quality grain. So I mean,
rice is you.
I was with rice.
Okay.
I went to Sari, you know Sari, Savannah Agricultural Research. We had a lot of work doing with them, developing perfumed rice, like our local breed plus other breeds from somewhere to get a rice seed that will be subsistent to our local.
So we just need to get the systems together so we can promote domestic consumption of our made in Ghana goods.
Definitely.
Dr. Kokofu, what are your ideas for promoting made in Ghana products, not just for export but for consumption locally?
See, the problem with us as a nation has to...
You are going straight to problems?
Yes, we have problem as a people.
And what are your ideas?
Our problem has to do with attitude, and it has transcended into our taste.
Can policy change attitudes?
I'm coming. You can have all the policies, you can have all the laws. If the people mindset it's not right, you can't do anything.
In some countries, people were prevented from spitting.
Just because
and punishments
because the mindset is there. Just announced today here in Ghana that we're going to ban rice importation. He's talking about rice. Government upon government from time immemorial up to today. Who dare you say that you're going to ban rice importation?
Is that the best policy?
But I'm coming. But
Nigeria did it.
You see, but we will turn around the big importers with the money out there will be able to influence society against you. Just last year, the nation said we've invited these. No, they even came in for direct investment in car manufacturing, vehicle manufacturing. So then, importation of accident vehicles, old vehicles, with all the emissions and with all their troubles, should be suspended. You heard what happened?
What happened?
These car dealers in this country, you did not?
No, what happened?
They all ganged up, demonstrations all around, insulting the president and the government, and we all looked on.
So what happened?
So then, we have to renegotiate and allow for some level of the policy.
The authorities about to pressure.
Of course, but
couldn't take a bold decision.
You and I know the
How
society.
Is that attitude?
You and I know the society that we are in.
The authorities bow to pressure.
Of course, you've got to be a listening government. If the entire people say
even when you think it's wrong, you listen.
We've been listening, and that is why we are advocating for this Okada thing. We are championing. We are politicians, leaders. Key as key as the former president is championing this Okada thing, and we all know, the society knows the kind of menace this Okada thing is bringing about.
It's still illegal.
It's still illegal, but you have a former president, for sake of power, championing. Let us come to
the law hasn't changed.
Let us come to made in Ghana goods and all that, and then eating
you
Ghana.
You are making a comment about attitude.
Attitude. You just sampled us. I mean, you were talking about breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
He ate fufu.
Mm-hmm.
I ate wache.
Yes.
They are all made in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a young man, handsome like yourself, and a beautiful woman out there who won the beacon, imported beacon from South Africa with mushroom. People eat imported mushroom from China and elsewhere, here in this country.
All the way from China?
Yes. And we are happy, and we think that is the level of the standard of living.
But if those in charge slap a 200% levy on imported mushrooms, do you think the mushrooms will stop coming to town?
No, they are coming. The tariffs are high. They are coming, and it's being passed on to the consumer, and the consumer is happily buying.
Make it 400%.
Even make it 1,000%. People will still continue to buy, and the bread the demand.
People don't work
the
like that. If it's too
out
expensive, the business people will not bring
oh,
it in.
please, you know what we are talking about. They will still patronize and leave the consumer, and then they. I remember when the outbreak of COVID, the president gave the protocols and all that, and added on to that we must be eating our indigenous natural foods. You remember? We had people insulting him on that. Dawa. We had people here in Ghana insulting the president for asking us to eat dawa.
Do you think the president minds those insults?
He does not. He does not, because he doesn't get moved by those
turbulence.
Because he knew perfectly well that is the way to go.
But the accident, but he was moved by the accident vehicle importers.
No, not that the policy got stopped. No, but we had to yield to some of their demands in order to assuage the pay.
What was the fear?
The fear was that they were going to lose business, jobs were going to be scrapped.
No, what was the government's fear?
The government's fear is that the citizenry.
That you will lose elections?
No, not at all. Not at all. But we went through elections with that.
With a very reduced majority now.
Well, maybe that is it, and that is the attitude of the Ghanaian. That is the wrong attitude of you and I as Ghanaians. So we must get conscientized. I heard my brother say the government should conscientize the people. No. We know what is right. We know. Before dawn, before the Westerners and the colonial masters brought their cheese and their sardines and everything, we were our forebears were eating. All right.
Cacao and all kinds of
Yes, with our snails and with our bushmeats and all manner of delicacies.
Green soup.
Yeah, green soup. So what happened?
Yes, the people are still eating the green soup.
Westernization. No, how many of us? I'm eating, you are eating. I got to Houston, and you know what? The Asante 4 in Houston, the city.
Yes.
He has a restaurant and all that. That was where I patronized. And you get there and you get the ajune, the pure one.
What is ajune?
Smoked fish.
Okay.
The mud fish.
Okay, mud fish.
Smoked one.
Very nice.
Very. You see, you don't know. Because you have been eating the salmon from Norway.
Maybe I'm eating it, but I don't know it's called mud fish.
Around.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So stop eating the salmon from Norway. And let's continue.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, this morning. Yeah, so they do it and do it so perfect. You just feel like you are in Ghana. I mean, Ghanaian dishes.
And that ajune came from Ghana?
Yes, it's been
exported
from Ghana. Yes. Okay. You get the barre, you get the plantain, you get your gari.
So you felt you were in Bantama?
Yeah, sure. Anyway,
although you were in the States.
The moment I get out of the restaurant, then
you know they are in America.
Yes. Once I get there, I'm getting. And you know what? Even though we went on oil technology, do you know what happened? Ghana Investment Promotion Center was there, adequately represented by the boss himself, Joe Figrant, and his entourage, and they carried along made in Ghana goods.
Like
the chocolate was there, the cloths and things to showcase Ghana, what we have and what we're doing. Even though it was an oil and gas, but they were there to showcase Ghana, and people were patronizing. Me myself, I always travel with the 2 packs of the golden tree chocolate.
Pebbles?
No, the real chocolates, and I'll be getting it out and all that. So it is incumbent on all of us to sell our country.
Okay.
Selling our country means adding value to our primary products that was handed down to us. The president used to call it Gettysburg economy. It's about time you transform it, and the value-added chain goes on. And that in itself can uplift this economy to levels that it may marvel all of us.
Okay.
The agribusiness, the value-added chain. And it is for nothing that the Sustainable Goals, number 9, talks about these innovations, industrialization, resilience, economy, value addition, and all manner of things. If we are putting our minds to it, I think the solution.
Yes, briefly.
We need to catch them young. Our students, the youth population, the students, the kids out there, we should stop over pampering our kids with these junky foods and all manner of things, promising them fried rice and all those things. We should start inculcating in them. We should allow them to feel really what we have, what we eat, what we wear as a people.
Alrighty.
So they will grow up with it, and it will stick. It will change the dynamics. The free SHS comes in its wake. Some of these thinking throughs and all manner of things. Once we have so many of our kids in schools.
What are the children being fed with? The rice that...
yeah, Ghana made rice.
Ghana made rice.
Yes, Ghana made rice, Ghana made tomatoes, Ghana grown palm oil.
Palm oil. Everything is Ghana.
Yes, everything is Ghana.
It's a concept.
You see, we can still promise our children fried rice. I mean, fried rice is fried rice. It depends on the ingredients that you use. We can still give them fried rice and chicken. If the poultry is coming from Ghana,
Ghanaian, yes.
We are doing the rice.
Yes.
The rice is
made in Ghana.
Yes. Rice,
the oil.
Every morning you have your rice water. In the afternoon you eat your fried rice. In the evening you can eat your motu with the same rice.
That's
all
true.
we need to do is to make them available and affordable.
Alrighty.
You can conscientize people to some level, but if it's not available,
they must be able to afford
and it's not affordable, it will be very difficult. Nigeria did it. Nigeria stopped importation of rice.
Yeah.
So, whether you like it or not, sometimes if you watch Nigerian movie, you see the kind of rice they eat, and you ask yourself, which rice is this? Because we know about the Uncle Ben's, but you see, that one, it's even.
You're supporting Nigerian farmers.
Yeah, you are, and the poultry. Yeah. Look, if we are to, like you said, it will be very difficult for a government to say that I'm banning the importation of rice outright. No, make sure you reduce the importation. Increase the local production by investing in the farmers.
Okay.
And
you understand me?
Lots of comments coming in on this.
So planting for food and jobs.
Okay.
That
you couldn't resist. You couldn't resist dropping that one in, right?
No, but you see, he didn't want to mention it, but
okay, so you
had to help him.
Planting for food. No. You see, I am not talking about planting for food.
Oh, but it's in line with your thinking.
No, the kind of investment I am looking at goes way beyond the planting for food and jobs. You go there, how much do they give you? I'm talking about government deliberately bringing machinery.
Yes,
bringing
I agree. But we start from somewhere.
Bigger farms.
Okay.
You understand me?
Okay, let's go to the messages. Let's go to messages. There's a lot of messages on this. So, thank you very much. 055 556-1034 is our WhatsApp number. If you haven't stored it on your phone by now, I mean, what are you waiting for? 055-556-1034. Messages here. So we should produce quality rice and reduce prices. We must be determined to sacrifice, stop making lazy money, and put in the measures to make sure that this will happen. Thank you very much. You didn't give me your name, but we are with you. Good morning. So I'm surprised Honorable Kokufu is making reference to the banning of importation of home-use cars. I'd like to find out whether the ordinary Ghanaian is well remunerated to afford a brand new car. You should think of creating employment for those involved in the importation sales first. He did not advocate for the banning of imported cars. He was talking about accident cars, which were going to be banned, and there was some pressure. And so just to make that clear, we shouldn't let the water waste away just like that. We're talking about the intended spillage of the Bagre Dam. My concern is with this annual water spillage. When will the government have in mind to build a giant water storage facility for our farmers in the same region? These are politicians who always wait to death and disaster to befall the needy ones, then parade themselves on television. So that's your comment on that. We'll be talking about Bagre Dam. We'll be talking about food made in Ghana issues. 055-556-1034. I want to end with one really sad one. So the Finder murders, 306 cases recorded in the first half of 2021 alone. So what's going on in this country? So this is from Statistical Research and Monitoring Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department. 306 murder cases between January 1 and June 30. 306 divided by 6. It's like, that's a lot of people. Yeah, 6 times 8, 48. About 80 murders a month. It's over 10 a week. 261 males, 52 females. 313 cases reported. 7 of them found not to be murder. So who are these victims? So these are fathers, mothers, wives, people in the family, and the impact of this situation is just untold. I mean, there's grief, there's lots of breadwinners. Is our society becoming more and more violent, Sponsor?
Yeah, I mean, looking at, if you read the story well, I think I was reading this story this dawn before coming here, and it tells you that out of this, it's only one case.
One case has so far been closed. 306 cases.
All of them are, now there's 7 is okay, like maybe manslaughter or whatever, but
that's less than a 1% success
but
rate.
The rest we don't know what's happening. And I believe our security agencies, I know they have the capacity of arresting those people behind the murders. But you arrest them and they stay in police custody for God knows how many years. Let's be jailing them, and people will learn from that. You look at somebody stabbing somebody, sometimes, I don't know if it's frustration. Sometimes frustration too comes in. Just yesterday, somebody was killed in the Eastern region because of a Bluetooth speaker. A Bluetooth speaker. Like,
that was it.
He was just stabbed. A 22-year-old man was just stabbed. And you can't, I can't fathom the level of frustration that will let you stab somebody over, let's say 10 Ghana cedis. I watched a video clip the last time. People were fighting over 2 cedis. 2 cedis, 2 Ghana cedis, so 2.
The red notes, 2.
The orange one. 2 Ghana cedis. They were fighting that they should share it, and people are holding people's throat, and mistakenly you can just push the person and the person will just fall and die. For what? I think it's about time we deal with those killers. Right now, I can't say we are becoming lawless, but I think people are becoming frustrated. And frustration breeds so many things, and I believe it's about time we look at it seriously, because it's like a small country like Ghana. This number of murders, half year is too much.
306. Dr. Kokufu, only one case closed out of these 306 cases. Since how does the police increase their win rate? The percentage is woeful.
Since Cain murdered his brother Abel, it has been with man to take another man's life, which divinely is unacceptable. So the laws are clear. You cannot, under any circumstances, murder another person, but we still have it on our hands. It's been said by experts, I mean psychiatrists, that the mental state of most of we the people walking around it's not the best.
Yeah, 1 in 4 has a mental, psychological issue.
Yeah. Exactly.
1 in 4.
Exactly. Yeah. So with that kind of mental deranged or whatever instability, you are sure to have some of these things happening. I don't buy into the frustration aspect, but still it has to do with the mental state.
Frustration is part of the mental state.
Well, no, it may not necessarily be. You may get frustrated along the line for doing this and all that, but that does not, it should not lead you into that kind
unless it graduates.
Yes. Yeah. So by the time you move from a frustrated mindset or state of mind to
violent, angry.
Yes, insanity. Emotions.
Frustration can just cause temporal, what we call temporal insanity.
Fight over
so insanity. So then the level of and you do know that we can go for a checkup for other things, but not the mental state.
Yeah. So
nobody.
So that has to be stressed these days. That the mental capacity also has to be.
Yes. Yeah. And how well have we been able to capacitate the mental hospital? I mean the mental hospitals. That is another issue. And in most cases, some of these insane people may be taken to the hospitals, and for some reasons they may be said to be okay and discharged. They come back and do worse things. Then finally he kills or she kills.
So we need to check on people's mental
state.
Okay.
Two, again.
Briefly, we are wrapping up.
Again, jealousy and envy and all manner of things.
Man-murdered wife reported herself to police. Today's graph in the New York Times.
Yes. And then contract killing.
Okay.
All those things are there.
This is by the devil.
And the contract killing and all that. So the whole thing is a complex kind of. That's why the police are not seen to be winning, so-called winning. But the point is, investigating murder cases is quite different from most of the things.
All right.
You may, as it were, convict an innocent person who might not necessarily have been the person in charge. The person in charge. And we should also not forget that crime these days have become highly sophisticated.
Indeed.
Those who commit will then have to, they know how to cover their tracks. Yeah. So you cannot mind them.
Okay.
But it is important that we all be very, very careful and cautious about ourselves.
Alrighty.
Why would I want to fight over water if I know that my brother needs it so much and he's so angry and wants it? I just leave it to him.
That's right.
And then go and find another one. If the woman does not love you anymore, just
leave the woman.
Hey, walk
if the man,
walk over.
Gentlemen,
good
the man is
not they say the woman doesn't love you or the man doesn't love you, just leave. Your life is more precious than any argument.
There are many out there waiting for you.
We'll call you for a relationship conversation later on.
Listen to Tyros Rally's Start Anew.
Sing it for me.
you want to hear
before we go.
He say don't make him beat you, and later takes your clothes off, abuse and mistreat you, and later on seduce you, making no got no love if to the dance style. You see, if you have strength, let him go and fight war, not to come and use it because you are too pretty to wear scars. So
Amen. Akwena Stereo Kwanzaa giving us some lyrical vibes from Towers Riley, former Central Regional Minister, Rice Guru, on the show today, and Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu, just landed from Texas and California, Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, former MP for the good people of Bantama, where the best check at midnight is made. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's the name of that rice?
Mango dam.
No, they have some rice.
You're watching GTV Breakfast. And gentlemen, yes, your rice conversation will continue after. Look at rice. They're making me hungry. But we need to keep our eye on issues on today's show, because we got some results from you. Yesterday we were on the ground on a particular beat, and we do have some results for you on exactly what happened. My man Alan will give us the deal. I don't know where Alan is right now, but he shall tell us pretty soon. There are some pictures of some refuse action that took place after our team hit the ground and made some reports. So we've got a couple of results there for you. And I want to just switch now to Alan, who is somewhere in the capital, giving us a Keep an Eye report. Alan, good morning. Welcome. Where are you?
Hi. Hello, good morning, Kafui, and welcome to Keep an Eye. We're currently not too far from our location yesterday, which was the Lavender Hill in Accra. And it'll interest you to know, let me share this with viewers this morning, that Keep an Eye is actually getting results. Yesterday, after our report from the Lavender Hill, we were told the AMA moved in with the mobilization of the assemblyman and members of the community, and a good cleanup exercise went on. If you can see the videos on your screen at the moment, this took place right after our report yesterday from the Lavender Hill environs. And the good thing about that is that they placed signs out there to warn those members of the community who would normally bring their household refuse and waste materials to dispose them off there. Again, they also had a sign there, and I'm told this morning once again that a member of the community has volunteered to ensure that those who come to openly defecate will no longer have the opportunity. The moment they show up, the law would deal with them in that direction. Now, let me bring you to our current location, which is a fish landing site relocated from the old Jamestown Harbour to the new site directly opposite the waste treatment plant in Accra. Now, to my left, you will see in your view men queuing up to get premixed fuel for their activities this afternoon or this evening, whenever they want to go fishing. These men tell me they would normally queue 2, 3, 4 days, sometimes a week, before they get supplies for premixed fuel in order to be able to go fishing. And therefore, they'll be very happy if authorities in charge of premixed fuel will do well to ensure that the delays are taken care of, so that they get the supplies in order to be able to go fishing really very quick, and also return time enough to get some rest. Beyond them, to my right, you'll find a row or a parade of fishmongers. And these women are here Monday throughout the week, plying their trade. These were relocated from the old Jamestown Harbour and brought here temporarily. They're told that when the harbour is completed, they will be moving back to the harbour to continue with their trade. It goes without saying that their being here is not without its own challenges. They have a few challenges, but before I bring on Nadodua, who has agreed to speak to camera, let me put this on record, that our research team spent the weekend with the women here on Saturday especially, and a lot of them agreed to speak to camera. But just before we came on air, we're told that the leader of the team here, who agreed to speak to camera, having raised certain issues with us on Saturday, has been called to a certain order, and so she's refused to speak to camera. However, Nadodua has agreed to speak to us, and so I'll bring Nadodua on to speak to us. Nadodua will speak in the Ga dialect, And when she's done, I'll do my best to bring us a certain interpretation to what she has put on record. Manyanado dua. Lebinemi abojeko. Yobe ochohi on how wale biana na kenyaba. How motiti kradako ngba nyejirayelina. Minijina kan hamo.
How moni ba wanaji. Bi Antone no. Shekun jala nu oba te ehin kun shekun waya ipeko. Sita ka wa women ba eka ka lele asite no wen keke lele gba. No ha no ni bi ahin patan no wola ahin bo na me ka je shata le hu ni wole te jame achila ma un kate ini esa tajan sisi na me tala le hu achila me panya ka jamo ka yemo jide sa no won pa government in fai mi abasa ni ndumushina cho mi do abasa mi pa government in fai sure na bi ene no mi hu na nda ma na te ne no chumu boy sama ye ndi jame ama me ka sha me no jame no be mo mbo ni ka yoni sure na se bi on mi no mbo ame ya mi ka mi tu ti na se shata no mi no ame no chumu ye ndi no mi fai ni government ko ni tane ne te abana abasa ahawo ojo kwamese ya kwamese ko ni amejira heli bia no bia wo ko na me kwamese ta ka ya wa ko kwa na wa je mi sagin la dangerous ya jame no pa ko te fai e ba ni ta ni obi e ta no ehia wo ka je te kun wo ya ko no pa fai te abasa we agbana accident on fo kai abafe loko ni ba ka lole mba ka gbomodumu tin tafla che ewa fi agbomo ni gbomo afo mi sika me wa ru ba no pa e to agbomo ya gbe ko won pa fai ko na kan je me won ba kwa agbo wa lati ji ehun e gbolu o kaji tafla che o ya ona lati e ona dun ona ni bodanu pa no gbomo won pa fai abakwa no fe no awo o.
Yo, Nadodwa Enele Olbado. Let me bring a certain interpretation to viewers this morning. Nadodwa has raised a number of issues. First of all, the building of the landing site, she explains, hasn't been favorable to their canoes, and so when their husbands are returning from fishing, they encounter certain problems that affect their canoes. The second one she mentioned is their proximity to the road, which leads to knockdowns by drivers, and so she's pleading that drivers should be patient when they're going across from them. The third one happens to do with their new site the men are forced to go to, which is the Shatter Beach, they call it. She explains all she does here is to ensure sanity. She sweeps the place for them. But because they've been relocated and the place is not good for them, they're forced to work from a different direction or a different location. And that location also poses its own problems for them. Indeed, if the government could do something about it to correct the landing site for them, it would be easier for their men to return from fishing, and working would be easier for them. The third one is the lightening of the place. Indeed, the street lights here does not work. If you know Accra very well, from Kolegon or Kolebu, and you're heading towards the Accra Business District, Central Business District, you will find that if you drive at night, the light, especially from the Fire Service Training Center to the Waste Treatment Center, does not work. That also is a problem to them. Let me bring you a very interesting one. Since the relocation here, interestingly, a vice arose. A few young men decided to build up a makeshift brothel at the extreme end of this landing site. And interestingly, the moment it came to the attention of the authorities, that brothel was pulled down. Unfortunately, our cameras cannot go to that extent because the men will not even allow us to film from that brothel. But I can assure you that that brothel has been broken down. Thank you, and over to you in the studio, Kafui.
Yes, Alan. Before you go, she kept saying, "Bah," then something happens. Bah, what was all? Yeah. I couldn't understand what she was saying. What was that bah business she was talking about? Dodua.
Right. The part she was referring to happened to do with the way people are knocked down when an accident happens. When someone gets run over, she is referring to that sound. The sound it makes is the part she was saying.
Thank you very much, Alan. So now I know why there are so many people lining that road, because I drive down that road and I was wondering, where did all these people come from? So they've been relocated from some other landing beach to go do their business there. And fish is something that I like to eat, no matter the time of day. But before we go for a break and come back with a conversation on corruption, I just put out a question about breakfast. So somebody told me that they had whiskey and groundnuts for breakfast one day, which was pretty weird to me. So I'm just asking you guys, what for you is your weirdest breakfast? Charlie, my Facebook timeline is overwhelmed. Fufu with pepper. How? I mean, how? So many years ago when I was a kid, I prefer katia and palm wine. Which on a farmland somewhere around Enyan Denchira. Liver salt and bowfruit. What a breakfast. Liver salt and bowfruit. I think there was a hangover issue there. Beans with Gary soakings. I mean, beans with Gary is great, but beans with Gary soakings? Wow. Chief Justice Leonard Fiawu. Daniel Norman says, amnesia kush with child coke. I really don't know what amnesia kush is. I need education. Prince Nyara Jo. Not something is happening. Leftover kokonte with hot pepper. That is all right. Efia amuakwa, ginger and sugar and plenty of water. Go ahead. And the last one I'm going to give you right now is agbelikaklo and tea. When we come back, former finance minister of Nigeria says fighting corruption is dangerous. But my question is corruption institutionalized? Back after this with the answer. Don't go anywhere. Hashtag GTV Breakfast, live everywhere.
Live from GTV, live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
So we
Ayiko, GTV, Ayiko.
Aiko, GTC, Aiko, Aiko, GTC, Aiko. You have set the pace, you have placed the train in. Aiko, GTC, Aiko. Oh yo, yeah, Imogemiya. Oya Mary Giant Tema, Kaboya, Kaboya, Kaboya. Oh yo, Imogemiya. Oya Mary Giant Tema, Kaboya, Kaboya. Ay, 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 ay. I want Valerie. I want Valerie to come and dance for me. I want Valerie. I want Valerie to come and dance for me. Come on. I want Thelma. I want Thelma to come and dance for me. I want Thelma. I want Thelma to come and dance for me. I want Kafui. I want Kafui to come and dance for me. I want Kafui. I want Kafui to come and dance. Hey, choro, 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 charanta, choro, choro.
So we
you have placed the drill. Aiko, GTV, Aiko, Pape, Aiko, GTV, Aiko, GTV, Aiko. You have set the pace, you have placed the drill. Aiko, GTV, Aiko, Pape, Aiko, GTV, Aiko, Aiko. Aiko, you have set the pace, you have laid the trail. Aiko, DBC, Aiko, DBC, you say, yeah.
Are you ready? It's heat hot.
Awake, purified mineral water. Special thanks to Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, and of course, special thanks to Shield Acrylic Paint for partnering us on this program. We're streaming live on Facebook. Follow us on our social media handles displayed right there on your screen. You can watch GTV on DSTV channel 278, so you have no reason to miss anything on the show. Also, hook us up on WhatsApp. The number to call is 05555 61034. This segment, we are dealing with corruption, and it undermines the credibility of the public sector, erodes trust in government and the ability to steer a country to achieve high economic growth and shared prosperity. With the numerous measures put in place by government and the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, in addition to state institutions like the police, IOCO, CID, BNI, etc., why do we still record such frightening statistics on infractions in the Auditor General's report with the legislation? So legislations like the Whistleblowers Act, the Right to Information law, and all that have been put in place. Why are we not reducing the number of corruption cases? And should the Public Accounts Committee be given prosecutorial powers to deal with public officials who are found to have misappropriated state funds. Lots of questions in there, and to help us analyze these issues, my guest this morning, Dr. Eric Ojosai, Director General, Internal Audit Agency. Dr. Osai, welcome.
Thank you.
So all these questions that we've asked, and you've read the Auditor General's report 2020, were you surprised at some of the findings?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our viewers. I was surprised with some of the findings, because some of the findings had already been uncovered by internal auditors. The management of these institutions have been warned and then advised to implement them. They failed to implement them, for which reason it is appearing in the Auditor General's report. Let me also mention that the Auditor General's report is on the back of a financial report submitted by state institutions to the Auditor General in accordance with Section 80 of the Public Financial Management Act. All the Auditor General has done is to express an independent professional opinion on the financial statement submitted to them. Now, this independent financial opinion can be one of two. Either the financial statement shows a true and fair view of the operations of the organization. What it means is that they have complied with all the required laws. Or he would express an adverse opinion, which means the financial statement does not comply with the standard requirements. Of all the institutions audited in 2020, the Auditor General cited two institutions, the Institute of Local Government Studies and the General Legal Council, as two institutions whose financial statement may have been qualified. He cannot express an opinion on it. What it means is that they fail to comply with the required standards. What are the reasons? The Auditor General has indicated that the absence of boards created a big problem, because the boards are expected to provide policy directions and supervise. The absence of audit committees. The audit committees have been created by the Public Financial Management Act to pursue management to implement some of these recommendations that would have come before the external auditors came. So the issue is more of systemic weaknesses and failure on the part of leaders of these public institutions to implement recommendations ahead of time. So that is where the challenge is.
It appears also that because we are talking about public entities, so corporations and other statutory institutions, the issue is a lot more serious. Would you agree?
I would agree. I would agree. It is more serious because the Auditor General did not audit only public corporations. The Auditor General audited ministries, departments, and agencies. And for the audit report of the ministries, departments, and agencies called MDAs, the irregularities they have reduced by 32% between 2019 and 2020. That of the DACF, that is the District Assembly's Common Fund, it has reduced by 38%. So in 2019, it was 124 million. In 2020, it has reduced by 77 million. When you come to the technical universities, it has reduced by a whopping 92%. It means something good is happening within the technical universities as far as their control systems are concerned. The challenge we have is that of the public boards and statutory institutions. And this one, it has increased by 135%. Unfortunately for us, it forms the bulk of the total irregularities, and that is 12 billion. So for it to increase from 5 billion to 12 billion is something that we should not accept. Apart from that, when you look at the total irregularities, it forms 40% of the total expenditure on the consolidated fund. And when you look at the expenditure on the consolidated fund, these are monies that are spent to bring development to the people. So if 40% of these funds goes down the drain, then we should be worried.
You talk about major irregularities identified. Let's hear some of them. What did the report cite as some of the most serious infractions?
In audits, when we talk about irregularities, irregularities are intentional misstatements or omissions of facts or financial information relating to spending. At the beginning of every year, government allocates funds to state institutions. They are expected to spend the funds according to a budget. If they fail to spend the funds according to a budget, then one irregularity or the other can happen. For the 2020 internal audit report submitted by the Auditor General, 5 irregularities were identified. One of them, outstanding debtors, loans and advances. The other one, cash irregularities. The other one, payroll irregularities. The other one, procurement irregularities. And the next one, tax irregularities, stores irregularities, and then contract irregularities. Let me explain them one after the other.
Okay.
When it comes to outstanding debtors, loans, and recoverable charges, these are monies owed to state institutions. But the state institutions have not been proactive enough to collect those monies due the state. Some too may arise as a result of loans advanced to staff of these state institutions, but they have not been proactive enough to recover these monies. So the monies are still with them. People owe state institutions, they have refused to collect them, leading to loss of funds. When you come to cash irregularities, that is the most serious irregularity. That one is directly dipping your hands into the cash, taking the money and using it without any authority. And we should be worried about the cash irregularities. Some of them include suppression of cash. When we come to payroll irregularities, this relates to ghost names and those who deduct staff SNIT and fail to pay it to SNIT, those who even fail to deduct PAYE taxes and all of that. So any irregularity that relates to the payment of staff emolument and issues that borders on staff welfare falls under payroll irregularities. And you remember the era of ghost names. Now, at least we are resolving the ghost name issues. But the issues that are coming up are SNIT deductions that are made, but the institution failed to transmit it to SNIT. Some pay staff without deducting the relevant taxes that should go to GRA to fund consolidated fund expenditure. Procurement irregularities, they are basically breaches of the Public Procurement Act. Failure to apply the required procurement method, using single source without approval of PPA, procuring beyond a certain threshold where it doesn't fall within your mandate, breach of the Public Procurement Act basically are the procurement irregularities. The tax irregularities, under the financial management laws of Ghana, withholding taxes are deducted at source by institutions on behalf of GRA. When you deduct these monies, you are expected to transmit them to GRA. They deduct these monies and they don't even transmit them. The other tax irregularity is that under the Financial Management Act, you would have to deal with only VAT registered institutions so that you'll be sure that they will pay taxes to government, and the government can also collect the VAT, because that is what government needs to finance public expenditure. Some institutions decide to disregard this law and then deal with non-VAT registered institutions. When it happens like that, it means you are helping the private sector institution to dupe government or to prevent government to mobilize the taxes we need.
So I was about to ask, what happened to the internal audit control measures then in these institutions?
The internal control, audit control measures are working, but the challenge is that the internal auditors have they are constrained under the current Internal Audit Agency Act, because the internal auditors are also staff of the public institutions. So they will raise these issues, they will give their recommendations to them. Because they are their staff, at certain times, some of the heads of these institutions push them to suppress the report. So it will be extremely difficult for the external auditor to do his report and then the report is against his management. He will send the report to his boss. Boss, I'm sending this report on you to Accra. You have embezzled funds. You have misapplied this fund. And you think the boss would agree. The boss will not agree. So that's why we are advocating that amend the current Internal Audit Agency Act. Take the internal auditors out of the control of these institutions. Put them under an independent institution like an internal audit agency. Then they will have that independence and objectivity to report ahead of time. Because internal auditors' role is to provide the early warning signals. So all these signals would have been provided ahead of time. we would have moved in to ensure resolution. So now they are constrained under the current law.
So auditors are constrained, but then the other suggestion is because persons who are found to have misappropriated funds or engaged in any of these irregularities that the report cited have not been punished, it perpetuates the act, and then it makes people feel like they can get away with it.
You have a point there. Under the Public Financial Management Act of Ghana, there are surcharges and then disallowance provisions. Ordinarily, if the Auditor General conducts the audit and finds a particular transaction as irregular transaction, the Constitution and the Audit Service Act empowers the Auditor General to disallow and go ahead to surcharge this public officer, and then maybe put the person before court. One challenge with this present report is that the Auditor General failed to exercise his disallowance and surcharging powers. He's indicated it somewhere that he will do it in future or going forward after evaluating evidence. And you can understand him, because if you disallow and you surcharge and send the person to court, the person will have to defend himself. You need relevant and reliable audit evidence supported by accurate working papers. And I think that is what is not available now. So yes, you are right in that direction, but I think the Auditor General is working hard at that to do an internal evaluation of the evidence they have to disallow and surcharge people. And once we are able to put 2, 3, 4 people in court and it comes into the media, it will serve as a deterrent to others to prevent them from continuously perpetuating this particular crime.
And as part of serving as deterrent to others, would the Public Accounts Committee be right to ask for prosecutorial powers so that they can go beyond just probing and actually charging people with some of these infractions? Is that the way to go? As a lawyer, that is not the way to go, because Public Accounts Committee is a committee of Parliament. I cannot imagine us giving a committee prosecutorial power to prosecute. They work as an agent of the main Parliament as a house. What I would say is that we should rather give more prosecutorial powers to the audit institutions. Public Accounts Committee can give the directions and the directives to these prosecutorial institutions to do the prosecution. But to give prosecutorial powers to Public Accounts Committee, that will not help in the fight against corruption. Already, they have the powers of a high court, and that power is limited to subpoenaing people to appear before them, and that is how far they can go. But to give a non-state institution a prosecutorial power, I'm yet to establish the legal basis for that. Now, there's a Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. We are looking at what we've seen on the screen, all these irregularities. How are we looking at them in reference to that act, and how can we encourage or how can we help institutions better adhere to some of these provisions in the law?
The Public Financial Management Act provides subsequent measures after the Auditor General has released his report. And these measures are that the audit committee, the law sets up an audit committee, and the audit committee is expected to pursue management of these institutions to implement their recommendations in the Auditor General's report. So at this stage, it is within the domain of the audit committees to pursue management to implement their recommendations. The Public Financial Management Act also gives surcharges powers to the minister responsible for finance. So the minister responsible for finance, acting through the directors of the ministry, can also issue directives to the various public institutions by way of implementing these recommendations. The Internal Audit Agency is also clothed with some powers to direct the audit committees to also ensure implementation of this recommendation. And I must say that the Internal Audit Agency has taken steps to meet with the chairpersons of all the audit committees of state institutions across the country, and we have directed them to prioritize implementation of the recommendations in the Auditor General's report and report back to the agency in their third quarter 2021 audit report to the agency.
Okay, so you mentioned SNIT, and so I want to just refer to something here. We are talking about billions of Ghana cedis cited in irregular, so it's part of cash irregularities, and 422 million plus representing cash locked up in non-performing investment by SNIT. to the layman, what exactly does this mean? Because SNIT is our pensions regulator. So what does it mean for workers and even those who are on pension?
When an asset is classified as not performing, to start with, SNIT are expected to collect our contributions, and they are expected to invest the contribution in a well-performing investment, so they will be able to get adequate returns to be able to pay pensions in future. Otherwise, if they fail to perform or play that role, then the individual can do that because they would then not be relevant to us. So any attempt on the part of SNIT to invest in a non-performing investment goes against the future of Ghanaian workers. Now, let's come to the non-performing investment. The non-performing investment means the returns do not merit the investment. So either they are not getting returns or the returns are not in line with the expected current returns. So otherwise, we can say it is a bad investment. And if it's a bad investment, what is then likely to happen is that in future, you will go on retirement, your monthly retirement is due to be paid. SNIT will not get the money to pay you because the investment is either locked up or it was a bad investment. You cannot get the returns. So that is the meaning, and that is against good or prudent financial management practices. Because if you are a fund manager, you manage in a well-performing investment. What it means is that the interest rate you get from the investment should be above the treasury bills rate, or should be an acceptable rate that can guarantee some future returns to enable you meet your obligations as far as payment of pensions are concerned as when they fall due.
And the issue with BOST, one of the issues is the procurement ones that you've mentioned before. We are being told that about $39 million is involved in this BOST procurement breach, if I can put it that way. How did that happen, do you think?
With the BOST or the GNPC, the Auditor General indicated that under the Constitution, if you are entering into a foreign agreement or a contract with a foreign firm, you need a parliamentary approval. And this has also been affirmed by the Supreme Court. And the Auditor General's position is that they did not seek this parliamentary approval. And for that matter, it is irregular. Let me also mention it for the benefit of your listeners that it is not all the irregulars that involves high suppression or loss of funds. Some of them really involve failure to comply with simple or basic financial management regulations, like the $39 million transaction, which did not receive parliamentary blessings before it was executed. Here, nothing was lost except that due process was not followed.
The Auditor General seemed to have a lot to say with regards to state-owned enterprises, and they are one of the key culprits of all the irregularities cited. Why does it appear that the private sector that is involved in the same kind of business as the state-owned enterprises appear to be getting it better and making more returns than the state-owned entities?
That's a very important question. The state-owned entities are entities that were previously operating like public institutions, but under a statutory corporation converted to companies act, they've been converted to companies. So technically, they are expected to operate like companies. And if you are operating like companies, your corporate governance practices and systems must be in line with the private sector practices. But unfortunately for us, the national level institutions that should supervise these institutions to operate like companies, to make profit and pay dividend to government, did not live up to expectations. And here, two institutions have been mentioned: the Securities and Exchange Commission, and then the Diversity Implementation Committee. But fortunately, they have been merged now, and we have a new institution called State Interest and Governance Authority, which is headed by Honorable Asamoah.
He's been here.
Yeah, that institution is rationalizing and putting them on their feet to be able to apply commercial principles in their operations. For a very long time, though the law makes them companies, and as it were, they are expected to apply commercial principles to make profit and pay dividend to government. But by their psyche and their mentality, they have imported the public sector practices into these businesses. So most of them were even not making profit. Most of them had to even rely on government for government to support them. This time around, we said, no, SIGA has been established. SIGA is to turn around their fortunes, get them to operate the required private sector principles, and they will make it. It is an attitudinal thing and a leadership issue.
So do you foresee the attitudes changing when it comes to remedies to these infractions? Can they even be stopped in the first place?
They can. With the way SIGA is progressing, because when you look at the SIGA Act, SIGA is expected to set standards. SIGA is expected to set KPIs. SIGA is expected to bring them to order. SIGA is expected to constantly review their financial statement. And I believe the KPIs to be set for the leaders of these institutions would include implementation of audit recommendations. So I see that if SIGA is fully established and SIGA is operationalized, SIGA follows up, I'm very positive that we'll be able to reduce these infractions as far as the SOEs are concerned.
And because you are also in an internal audit, the Auditor General is also calling for strengthening of internal mechanisms. What does that mean specifically? And will that be enough to stop the leak?
That would be enough to prevent it from happening in the first place. Internal audit is a service to management, and it plays a corruption prevention role. If internal audit fails to prevent it, then external audit will pick it up. So if you strengthen internal audit, and here, strengthening internal audit is not only the internal auditors. You strengthen the internal audit unit, you strengthen the legislation supporting internal audit, you strengthen audit committees. Once you strengthen the internal control systems, the systems will provide early warning signals that will prevent some of these things from happening in the first place. And even when it happens, you would have an internal audit unit to guide management to resolve the issues before the external auditors comes. So I agree with the Auditor General that if the government will prioritize strengthening internal audits as a way of preventing these things from happening in the first place, it will help. And let me say that the government has already taken steps towards revising the current Internal Audit Agency Act to set up what we call an internal audit service and pass a bill to reposition and restructure the whole public sector internal audit so that at least audit will be able to provide the early warning signal and serve as a pre-corruption preventing institution within the public sector financial management.
Well, so was it all bad, this Auditor General's report? It sounds like it's painting a very grim picture of the state of affairs, but surely there must have been some good points to take away from all this.
Definitely, it's not all that bad at all. The bad part is what we've discussed, that of public corporations and the statutory bodies. The rest are showing positive signs, and indeed, it is clear that irregularities are dropping. Like I said, that of MDAs dropped by 32% over that of 2019. 2019 it was 3 billion. 2020 it has dropped to 2 billion.
But
that
we are seeing the chart, and the total irregularities, they keep increasing every year. We are looking at about 12 billion Ghana cedis. And if you look at the number from the 2016 chart, you realize that it keeps going up. So yes, how are we performing better?
Yeah, this one is for the public corporations. And I indicated that for the public corporations, 2016 is 718 million. 2017, 12 billion. 2018, it dropped to 3 billion. 2019, it has shot up to 5 billion. 2020, 12 billion. And for SOEs and public corporations, because they operate in commercial environment, the values are high. So I am not surprised it is increasing. But the assurance is that once SIGA is fully repositioned, internal audit law is revised to restructure and reposition internal audit, these things can reduce. But when you look at the other sectors, we are seeing some significant reductions. MDAs reduced by 32%, Common Fund reduced by 38%, technical universities, it has reduced by 92%. So the area we really have a lot of challenges is in the area of public boards and statutory bodies, and that is where SIGA is doing the work.
So whenever there is a delay in announcing a board, it has such implications. What should be our way around it in the absence of a board? Are there any other ways of making sure that these things are checked?
In the absence of a board, the audit committees, which are statutory committees set up by Public Financial Management Act, should be able to support the institution to do the needful. But the reason why boards are important is that even when the financial reports are prepared, the institution cannot transmit the financial report to the Auditor General because it will have to be signed by the board chairman. So if the board chairman has not signed it, that on its own is an irregularity. So the absence of a board can really affect corporate governance and control systems. So maybe going forward in future, we should avoid a situation where we leave a governance gap by way of absence of a board in corporate institutions. We should allow the board to continue to operate. And even if we are going to allow this gap to exist, we should empower the audit committees to fill that corporate governance gap, because that gap is not good. Because the board provides policy guidance and they are expected to supervise the activities of heads of these institutions. Absence, even a good person without supervision has the potential of becoming a bad person. And a bad person without supervision has the potential of becoming a good person. So it's better you supervise the person. Nobody is an angel. So you need the board to supervise them.
Any final comments on the Auditor General's report, SOEs, procurement breaches? What would be your last bite on this matter?
My last bite on this matter.
Can corruption be stopped?
Yes, it can. It can. And it is a change of attitude and then cracking the whip. And the Auditor General has done extremely well, because when you look at the Public Financial Management Act, the audit report, financial reports went to him in February. In a record time, he submitted this report. But he has a lot of recommendations. The advised state institutions, IOCO, the BNI, Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Internal Agency, let us sit, look at this report, pursue them to implement the recommendations. I urge all audit committee chairpersons, so as a matter of urgency, convene emergency audit committee meetings, prioritize these recommendations, follow through and make sure that they are implemented. We should be interested in the Auditor General's report, because these funds are funds that should be invested in development projects that would help us and our children. We should not sit idle. Let us support the implementation of audit recommendations so that Mother Ghana will be a good place to live in.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, Dr. Eric Odrosai, Director General, Internal Audit Agency. Thank you so much for adding your voice to this conversation. We've been talking to Dr. Osai on the Auditor General's report and what it means to the collective fight against corruption in Ghana, and he's shared his views. Also, share your views with us on our social media handles and also to our WhatsApp line, and we will read them out loud. A quick notice that one of our current affairs programs on GBC News starting live at 9 a.m. Focus, and they'll be looking at the alleged bribery allegation against the Chief Justice. So that on GBC News, George Sapper will sit in to host that conversation. But right here on Breakfast, you don't want to miss Valerie's next interview. We are talking books, and she has an amazing author with her sitting down to have a conversation. If you're interested in children's books, you should not miss this next conversation. We're right back after this. Don't go away.
Yeah. I want Valerie. I want Valerie to come and dance on me. Come on. I want Thelma. I want Thelma to come and dance on me. I want Thelma. I want Thelma to come and dance for me. I want Kafui. I want Kafui to come and dance for me. I want Kafui. I want Kafui to come and dance. Hey, choro, choro, choro,
Are you ready? It's heat hot, and we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on
news making the headlines, how to navigate traffic,
what's up with the weather,
your health check, getting you up to speed on
lifestyle,
sports,
word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you, with the team you can trust.
It's breakfast weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Are you ready? It's heat hot, and we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on
News making the headlines. How to navigate traffic.
What's up with the weather?
Your health check. Getting you up to speed on
lifestyle,
sports,
word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you, with the team you can trust.
It's breakfast weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.
Welcome to the side of the breakfast table. Yesterday we had an interesting conversation on books. Today, amazingly, we have a super woman in the studio, and we are going to continue our conversation on books, delving a little more into books for children. Stories have been part of our life for the longest time. And do you remember By the Fireside and the stories that By the Fireside left with us? For instance, I still remember some of the lessons that we learned from that. My guest, when she was a little girl, wanted to become a policewoman and an investigator. In her little village where she grew up, she started schooling. She didn't have a classroom, and they used to write their lessons in the dust. Fast forward, she went to the UK. She's worked with over 40 schools in the UK, and she's back home to impact her knowledge and her vast experience to us. Hello, ma'am. My guest actually is Madame Hannah Yawusua Ejapong. I got the pronunciation right?
Well, thank you.
See, it's a pleasure to be sitting with you, and my guests are going to find out why after you've told us all the things you've done and what you want to do. Welcome to our studios.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Okay, so what is a child who aspires to be a policewoman doing, writing children's books and authoring and poetry?
Okay, I think every child has a dream, and I had my personal dreams when I was a child. But unfortunately, sometimes those dreams get diverted. I was privileged enough in my middle school years to have a teacher called Mrs. Teresa Ayawovi Senu.
Right.
Mrs. Senu loved poetry, and she had such a charm about her. And so because of her, I fell in love with poetry as well. So I started writing poetry, you know, from school days all my life, and I'll write for friends on their birthdays, anniversaries. I'll write a verse for them. And then, actually, when I left school, I trained as a nurse midwife. I worked at Kolebu Hospital.
Okay.
I worked at Efiankwanta Hospital. Okay. If you are watching from Efiankwanta, hello. I also worked in Tamale and Yendi. So I've traveled across the country.
The length and breadth of the country.
And when I went to UK, I was working as a nurse midwife. Okay. But I kept writing. Okay. And one day I saw an advert for poetry competition.
Okay.
So I thought I would enter one of my poems. I entered it, never had anything for so many months, and then out of the blue, I had a letter addressed to poet Hannah Yawusua Ejapong. And I said, who made that mistake? And so the long and short of it was that I won an International Poetry Award, and I had to go to Washington, D.C. to receive my medal. After that, I won 4 more poetry awards, and in 2003, the International Society of Poets recognized me as a distinguished member. And so after that, I said, what am I going to do with this? I don't just want to have the awards and display them on my table. And then I was interviewed by BBC Radio Shropshire. And after the interview, I was getting calls from everywhere to speak and also to share my stories.
Yes.
And then my local council, which is Telford and Wrekin Council, the Multicultural Development Services, invited me to do live storytelling in their schools. And so it was just by word of mouth. I was just swept off my feet, going from school to school, telling them stories. And that led to actually writing them down. I started with the oral tradition, which, you know, we all know about Ghana. The announcing stories that our grandparents told us, they were amazing. And on that, in fact, I used that method of telling stories to writing my books. Because our parents and grandparents will watch a child's reaction as they tell the story, just to assess their emotional growth, their intellectual growth. So when I say stories were used as educational tools, this is what I mean. And our parents and our grandparents, the Ghanaian tradition of proverbs and idioms and teaching children, you know, everyday things, has made us into a unique kind of people, and we love stories. So I decided to start writing stories.
Wow. And you have 6 children's books?
I've written 6 children's books so far, published them, but I've got other books on the pipeline coming.
And then you have 4 other books of poetry.
I've written 4 books of poetry as well. So it is like, it's like eating a beautiful mango. Once you take a bite, you want to eat all of it.
Okay. Ma'am, which of the stories you've written, which one inspires you the most, and which one would you want, out of all the books, which one would you want to have the impact on kids? Which one is your favorite?
All my books have impact on kids. And writing books is like having children. You can't have a favorite among them.
Okay, sure. You got us
So
there.
all the books are rated to impact children.
And then your mode of writing, I see that, for instance, Spotty Blue Ted here, basic, simple language.
Yes.
Okay. Now comes the barrier of education in the UK. They have a very different system from that in Ghana.
Yes.
How, especially if we have to take reading to the hinterlands, and how do you make reading interesting and attractive to kids? Actually, how do you let them stick to the book and finish reading?
Oh, the children love reading. The way I craft my story is that once a child starts to read a story, they want to read it to the end. And once they have the hunger for reading, especially when they read with understanding.
Sure.
And the way I've crafted my stories, I've branded them life-affirming stories. I've got questions at the end of every book just to test whether the child really understood the story and if the characters resonate with the child's own experience. Yes.
Amazing. Well, apart from books, you have other educational materials.
Yes.
To keep kids glued to studying. And I am amazed. So this, here's it. It's a jigsaw puzzle and a card game. This is Panda Song, and this is by Auntie Hannah. Amazing stuff.
In fact, the children love the jigsaw puzzles. Since I've been in Ghana, we've visited a few schools, and it's like they are fighting with each other to fix the jigsaw puzzles. Jigsaw puzzles concentrate the children's minds, and the card games also develops their memory, because playing the card games makes the children remember which card was picked up last.
Okay,
and
so
the children love it.
This is the Panda Song. So we have the puzzle. This is a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
And then we have the card games right there. Okay, ma'am, you're telling us the differences and how these can aid in our learning, children.
Yeah, one of my books, actually, Zelia the Young Gazelle, for instance, is about family communication. I know that the world is changing and parents are so busy. Sometimes parents are so busy that the time we should spend with the children is spent in traffic. So by the time we get home, we are too tired to engage with the children. And so I am encouraging parents to spend time with their children, even if they are playing the card game alone. It increases family bonding and the child trust. Children don't just need gifts and toys. They need the love and the attention and the warmth of family bonding. So Zelia, the young gazelle, encourages children to ask questions. Zelia was very inquisitive. She asked questions about everything. And so I believe that as children read these stories, they'll have the courage to ask questions and also have...
Here's a part from page 11 of Zelia.
Okay.
And it says, Zelia was finding everything so exciting and had lots of questions about life on the plains. In quote, the creator seems to make the sun and sky look all golden at sunrise and sunset, Daddy. Golden sunrise and golden sunset.
Yes.
I can see that, how that is.
Yes. And also I bring the concept of a creator into the story because as some of you will know, in the world people are fighting against the concept of God. And also most of our problems becomes religion, whose religion is the best. But if we all know that there is a creator, then we are able to talk freely about a creator, even those who don't think there is one.
You have a stand at the Ghana International Book Fair. We
Yes.
hosted them here yesterday, and what?
Oh, right.
Yes. How do we find your stand, and what to expect at your stand? I know we are going to find jigsaw puzzles, card games, and amazing storybooks. So.
Right. My stand at the Ghana Book Fair, the 18th Ghana Book Fair, my stand will be life-affirming stories. So look for life-affirming stories. Look for the pull-up banner, and you come and you have fun. All the books will be there. Jigsaw puzzles and card games will be there.
Mama, these giveaways for viewers, or you take them back?
Well, I will give a few of them to the viewers.
Right.
I don't know how you conduct that.
Yes, I'll mention.
Those, maybe the first 10 people who will call in.
Okay,
one
so
free book.
call in, and then or you can send messages to our WhatsApp number 05555-61034. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. So send in your messages if you want to interact, and then you can win some books and jigsaw puzzles, card games for your children. If for those of parents and children who cannot make it to the book fair, where do we find you? Is there a website? Where we find their phone number to reach?
Okay. For those who would like to buy the books and the jigsaw puzzles, the Africa coordinator for Life Affirming Stories is Mr. Emmanuel Dankwa. His telephone number is 0246451861. I repeat, 0246451861. Or you can email him at imadankwa@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Right. We are having a lot of phone calls. Please do not call the number. Send a WhatsApp message to the number. We have 3 people who are calling actually, and I'm sure it's in reference to the books. Don't worry. Send in your WhatsApp messages, and then you can have the books for your kids. Any final words, Mama, as we wrap up? Maybe some advice for parents, children, teachers, everybody when it comes to reading.
Okay, my final word, especially for teachers, is thank you so much. Our teachers are doing an amazing work. All teachers in Ghana, I say thank you so much. Had it not been that my head teacher, Mrs. Theresa Senu, was passionate about poetry, I would not be a poet today, and I would not be writing stories today. And our moms, my mother always told me to write. She told me our family history, and she would go write it down so you don't forget. And so to the memory of my dear mother, who passed away 32 years ago, I say thank you. And to mothers, please continue to encourage the children. Don't only pick up on the wrongs they do. Encourage them, praise them when they do something little, so that our children will grow up. They are the future. And be the amazing leaders that Ghana needs. So more grace to the elbows of our parents, our teachers, and the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, we have messages from, you did not send us your number He says that, hi, I want life-affirming stories. Please, for my kids, you just send your name. Please stop calling the number. Someone says that, I love your program and would be glad to get a free book for my child. We have all the numbers, but send in your names. You're having lots of messages. Someone saying that you are inspiring us this morning. Lots of messages. Benjamin Glover from Burma Camp. He's watching from Tema. Elizabeth from Medina also. So we have a couple of winners for the giveaways for the books. Thank you, ma'am, for passing through, and we'll see you at the book fair, which begins tomorrow. You can also go on your website and follow your stuff. So don't forget to inculcate the culture of reading into your kids. And there's more ways to make reading and letting life-affirming stories stick by getting the jigsaw puzzles and the card games as well. Like I promised, we're going to have some music. After this break, we're going to be talking to a gospel musician. He's a family man, he's a singer. We're going to find out how he puts all of this together and still comes out with amazing music. Here's a break on his feature.
Abundantly, Yehovah. Omona, what the phone in the journey better. Omona, I want to phone in a benya family. Abundantly, Yehovah. Oh, Omona, I want to phone in a benya family. Abundantly, Yehovah. Abundantly, Yehovah. Omona, what's a fool in the journey better? Omona, I want a fool in a benya family. Abundantly, Yehovah. Oh, Omona, I want a fool in a benya family. Abundantly, Yehovah. Yesu ayeye onyaminema udi umoja na toye yakutu yesori o yakaseu yakesi Yesu ayeye onyaminema udi umoja na toye yakutu yesori o yakaseu yakesi Atia sefona impeni pwetu nunai wakutu usori o Atia sefona impeni pwetu nunai wakutu usori o Yesu aye onyaminima uti umoja na toye yakutu yesori o yekase yekesi Yesu aye onyaminima uti umoja na toye yakutu yesori o yakase yekesi yetimi mo Yesu yemo Messiah inkunimti on the erati yemo Yesu meno with your sabansu including the on the eradi. Oh, what to meno with your sabansu including the on the eradi. Me mama yes way, me mama Messiah including the on the eradi. Me mama yes way, me mama Messiah including the on the eradi. Me mama yes way, me mama Messiah including the on the eradi. Me mama yes way, me mama Messiah including the on the eradi. I don't look like what I have been through. You turned my pit into a well. So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace. I don't. I've been through a lot